Non-farm payrolls for July just coming out 114,000, much lower than expected. 190,000 were expected for the month. Unemployment rate, I should say, 4.3%. Also to the upside to the tune of 0.2%. On the month-over-month basis, 4.1 was expected. Again, comes at 4.3%. Manufacturing payrolls there, positive 1,000 was expected, negative 2,000. So quite the reversal on that side of things. The decline coming overall, again, 97,000 versus 150. Non-farm payrolls on the private side of things. The overall number, 114 versus 190,000 expected. On the July non-farm payrolls number, the market, not liking that too much. Through 450 we go for the Qs. We were already officially 10% off the highs for the NASDAQ as of this morning, coming off Amazon and Apple after the close last night. This is not going to help. Already 2.25 here, or 2.2% to the downside again on this non-farm number. 4.3% unemployment rate, I mean, theoretically should help a little bit versus 4.1 expected there. But the overall headline number, if you're just joining a little bit late there, 114,000 versus 140 or 190, I should say, expected there. The consensus 175. So missed by a wide margin, 4.3 versus 4.1, as I mentioned. So we'll see if we can't get writing or getting going in the right direction here. But so far, pretty negative. Happy Friday. Sharif taking a long weekend. Dara with me this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. We'll see how this market reacts to this number, but a lot to digest this morning. I mean, I'm just looking at a blotter here to my right. Chips across the board, downside. Russell negative for the first time in a couple of days here. We have Apple to discuss, Amazon to discuss, lots to look at.
Yeah, it's interesting. Even the earnings reports that were positively received initially did not get as much traction as you would expect. We had Roku, DoorDash, Cloudflare. Those were all initially gapping higher, but not a lot of volume to back up those moves higher. So it does look like a bit of a move to the downside here for these markets. Should be a pretty interesting day. Amazon, definitely a lot of earnings to talk about there, especially, and Apple as well.
I mean, theoretically, we were looking for a negative number here, but here we go back in the direction, guys, of I guess bad news is bad news once again for the overall market.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good.
You were good. I was good.
Yeah, bad news is bad news for sure right here. I mean, that's job market getting weaker. Apparently, not what they like to see. I guess the Fed might like to see it. Maybe now it gives them more sort of ability to cut it. But I mean, they've kind of already thought about that. So yeah, now we have to take the news for what it is. We were, upset about yesterday, market down 3%. Market's already down 3% right now. There goes Apple. Look, I wrote down Apple on the sticky note. Let's see about this 216, 215 level to hold. It's already gone through it. So that's the thing here today, as it just bounced right back up about $1 right there. But all right, yeah, Apple's quarter was completely fine. I think on any given Sunday it would have been better. I think the same thing true of Amazon as well. But I mean, these names just continue to get hit. Actually, Amazon's holding out pretty decently in this last little move down, but down again 9%. We'll talk about everything. Brendan and Dara were just mentioning that. Wow. There's so many names to look at. Snapchat, Intel, Apple. I mean, there goes Apple again, just broke through again.
Nvidia 100.
That was the other level that I wanted to do.
It's 102 already on Nvidia, so it's gonna get, it's gonna get interesting here today. You know what? It's at
102.
At least all these things aren't Intel, so that's my first Intel joke of the day. But yeah, I thought Apple's quarter was pretty good as well. And if we get a day where Amazon goes short sell restricted at 10%, I thought like the SSR play was gonna be like a Snapchat or something. It might be Amazon for a 10% at the open. If it's down 10% at the open, every even dollar is going to be there for a bounce. But obviously, Nvidia 100, where we bounced those 2 days ago, is going to be a biggie. Amazon already bouncing a little bit better than everything else through 166, back into 168. So that's going to be spicy. It wasn't that bad of a quarter. Some weird reasons that they gave for why the revenue was a bit of a miss. Things that are not down, not many of them, because this, Block was up after earnings, after market, and then when we sat down here today, and all of a sudden they've turned red. So not a heck of a lot is looking positive at this particular moment. So it's not looking all that good. Yeah, Intel just broke the even dollar as well. it's going to be a careful trade on Intel, because when it's down that much, I wanted to play off the 25, and barring that, I think I was kind of looking for a pop and fade into the pre-market high at 23. This number's changed a lot of that, so you're just going to have to be a little bit patient. Allow them to digest this data, and there's plenty of time to get to the open. Just remember yesterday, you didn't have, we said this last night with Chris Bretcher, you didn't have to be super early to the short as long as you got to the short yesterday. You know, you didn't have to be in it right away, but the chips are starting to bleed once again, starting to look pretty nasty. At least Amazon is bouncing, though. It's about the only thing I'm seeing outside of Apple.
I mean, Tesla's at 210.
Tesla's already at 210. Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Stuff. Gold is breaking out. Gold, do we have Michael Noss today? Gold right now breaking out, trying to go again. So GLD's high is basically 230 all-time highs. And we're going to get there right now. So here's GLD really starting to go.
ELTs.
Man, it's just so funny because July 16th was the high of the market. It's August 2nd right now, and we are really, really pulling back in many, many names. So I think we sort of thought about this was going to happen on earnings season, not this dramatically, I don't think. Yeah, you have to prove the numbers that you put up, right? I mean, some of these PEs, even on Apple, is historically high, you know, and when you get to those levels, and there's really nothing to deliver till 2025 for Apple and those numbers with the AI, even if that gets through, they still have to get through the wall there in China. I don't know if that's going to happen. And then we did, I mean, it was just weeks ago. It was just yesterday, Amazon was 190. And it was just a week and a half ago, and then we were talking about Bezos selling it at 200. And I remember putting on the sticky notes, oh, you know, short sell 200, you know, in front of this guy, blah, blah, blah. There's a wall up there. Whoops, we can't break it, et cetera, et cetera. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, see you later. And then the earnings report comes, and now it's straight to the downside. But Amazon coming up to some many key levels here. So we'll see. It's not holding right now, by the way. And then I feel like you got to watch out for Nvidia here. I mean, it's going to break 100 in the pre-market.
Wow.
And when that happens, you know,
two successive sellers.
There's not going to be too much liquidity in the pre-market.
I don't know if you saw this.
I don't know how far this could go down.
So on the offer of Nvidia, there was two back-to-back 30,000 sellers underneath 102. Like, just pop on the offer of the 101.60, and then another one just popped. Like, once it got filled, another one at 101.80, and there's another like 20,000 selling right now at 101.69. So there's some chunk selling happening down here on Nvidia. That break absolutely could happen. What's going up? TLT is going up. Interestingly enough, the first time we were talking about this in the afternoon show, what's going higher? Yeah, the 20-year. So that's making a bit of a bounce. I know a couple of people in the early chat were talking about the strength over here in the Treasury, which I guess is going to make some sense here. So that's breaking out as well. Gold breaking out. Treasury's breaking out. Everything else breaking down.
I was watching some of the short-term yields getting crushed here this morning. 3.8% right now on the 10-year. So it's longer term for sure. Sean, you were mentioning gold. Yeah, here's the futures. Michael Noss coming up here in a couple of minutes. He's going to talk about relative strength. So he wants to discuss a few areas of relative strength that he found yesterday while the market was coming in. But there's the futures. Yeah, as you're mentioning, all-time highs here for gold. So it's not all bad. A little bit of rotation continuing here. I was going to mention as well, as we started off the show at 8:30 there, 10% officially. It's actually well more than that now. Off the highs here. Where are we? We're down here this morning. Yeah, 11% now. So officially correction territory, at least for the NASDAQ, with this move this morning on the back of Amazon and Apple after the close. But yeah, VIX as well. Some volatility coming back into play here today.
Yeah, there's certainly so much to look at here. We've also had as well some of these midday drops we've seen in the last few days. So it could be interesting to see if we get any kind of reversion, any different kind of move later this week. There's certainly been a lot for the markets to process this week with 7 names reporting, most of which, other than Meta, were a little bit received as disappointing by traders and by analysts. We also do have as well, we had Fed Chair Jerome Powell on Wednesday, so we'll have to see if this Friday changes anything up in what's been a pretty wild week, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting to the end of the major earnings. There's still lots to come next week. We'll get into a few of those coming up here in a few minutes. I saw a couple of people mentioning this one as well. Palantir set to report beginning of next week. 5.5% downside here this morning, guys, for PLTR. Negative note from an analyst this morning.
They always give us Palantir. It's
who are these analysts saying?
Monday morning. You always get the Monday morning for Palantir, but you're not here. Make sure
this is the game.
We gotta have the hat. We gotta have the hat Monday morning.
That's over here.
Because last time we were going on and on about Palantir, and I was there with Obi, and like as I'm talking, stalling, he's trying to find the hat, which I don't think was there. But look, VIX. I was gonna mention the VIX is up. Obviously, that goes without saying. Look, everything is giving up the bid, and I think you want to be super patient. Like things like, oh, well, 25 might have been a thing earlier on Palantir pre-earnings. I guess not. Like I wouldn't throw anything out the window here. 24, 23. Obviously, the big level is kind of down here at like 22.90 on Palantir, and we're not going to see the 200-period moving average. Post-earnings, if they were to miss, I guess that's possible, but I don't think you're going to see something like that today. But on a day like this, where this is down 6%, I'm going to be thinking about SSR bounces in the late morning on anything that's a big volume name, right? And Palantir does fall into that bucket. Now, obviously, Snapchat had their earnings, Intel is Intel, it's a completely different ballgame. And Amazon being the biggest name, I think that has a chance to get down there is going to be in play. I don't think you want to catch any falling knives, and I don't want to overreact either. But Palantir, pre-earnings, I think it's in the pocket. You got all weekend. I wouldn't be, on the day of earnings, don't always love trading one thing over another. But you get to an even dollar level on PLTR, the next one, I should say, and you break that, and you could see that 10% move. Definitely an opportunity, I think, but there's so much else moving. Like I just looked over, Snapchat could lose $10 here. Like that was bouncing and looking like it was a flop and fade. I wrote down, oh, if it gets up to breaks 11, I want to short back into this area, 11.50, if it breaks over 11. That seemed possible when we sat down. Well, when I sat down this morning, and after the way it bounced in the aftermarket at 10, now all of a sudden you're looking at a 10 breakdown on Snapchat again, down 20%. Yeah, it's going to be a crazy one here. But there's still a few names that have a little bit of support. I mean, Palantir wasn't one of them, but we'll see. Nvidia is still bouncing above that 100. Amazon is teetering. Apple looking okay at least.
Yeah, there's Nvidia right here. That's the story for me right now. 101.50, not trying to bounce, is bouncing really nicely off that level there. So I've made crazy calls before, but this market, I feel like, is going to go up from here. Okay, well, let's see if that's the case. I'm actually writing down some futures levels here that I think we could bounce off of. When there's blood in the streets, sometimes there's buying opportunities, and a lot of these names are down real low. And there's been a lot of people that have been sitting on the sidelines with cash. There's been a lot of traders that have rotated out and into cash and into other names. I mean, we already talked about the TLT and things like that. And if you've had that nice run, going long on some of those, rate-sensitive products, it's just at some point here, stocks out. I mean, not that this is something that someone's going to pile into, but you are $65 2 weeks ago. Now you're $30, and this is supposed to be, what everyone loves. At some point, there's going to be a level that traders step in. So what are we at now? 2.45? Okay. We'll mark that down and we'll see. We'll see where we go from there. And it's not being helped by any of these big names. I mean, Apple's still at 215. If anything, we are getting that Nvidia bump. Tesla is still bleeding. It's still, all these names are still at the levels we talked about. Tesla's still at 210. The only thing that seems to be going higher is Nvidia. Or probably AMD, probably all the chips. Amazon's going lower. Amazon's at its lows right now, so that's pretty nasty. And then I'm just going to, because the chips are bouncing, potentially we'll have to look at Intel there, because that is pretty low as well. But still, what is that low here? 2160. Okay. Yes. Oh man, it's gonna be an interesting day.
There'll be volume and volatility.
Yeah, and it's not. I'm not trying to go long down here. I'm just thinking let's have a look to see if there is something to catch, because I feel like there's going to be a little bit of a bounce. The thing is too, we have the imbalances to look at.
Especially at open.
Especially at open. Yeah, that's sort of where I'm thinking. Right now, look at this. When's the last time, everybody, we saw something as dramatic as S's here? All S's. Vale, come on, man. Anyways, you're going to see this stock. This doesn't move. These always have big imbalances, right? Yeah. Brazilian stocks. But anyways, all sells. Oh man, it's gonna be a fun one. It's only 8:45. Market doesn't even open for 45 minutes. So let's go over to the desk and see what Mr. Michael Noss has to say about all this.
Quick, guys, first, this is notable. This is adjusted now, coming off the non-farm payrolls number. This is now, I mean, if you add these two together, 90% chance of a cut, but 68%, that's 50 basis points in September. So 68% for 50 basis points in September. So more than 98% in total there for at least a quarter point coming off in total, but leaning more towards, Mr. Powell going a full, potentially anyways, 50 basis points. As mentioned, let's bring in Mr. Noss wants to look at a very red board from yesterday on the sector side of things. But I think it's, a great point and a great time to talk about how we can locate pockets of strength in a market that is otherwise headed downside. I mean, we mentioned gold this morning already, all-time highs.
Yeah, and gold is something that you guys know I love and own a lot of, but I love markets like this, and I'm probably the only one who enters market like this with a big smile on his face, because you're right, that first slide that you just showed there for a second, that was the board yesterday. Again, you can build these in-trade ideas with, these are all the sectors that I watch. Very, very red unless you were a handful of sectors out there. But why do I love really red, bloody days like this? Now, it's obviously not good for my P&L. My P&L looked much better earlier in the week than it did yesterday, and I got stopped out of a lot of trades there. But it makes my job as someone who likes to buy relative strength and to buy stocks that are doing very well way easier. When the entire market is selling off, you get to very easily find what's not selling off. I often come to you guys with going under the hood of hundreds of charts and trying to find where money might be rotating and doing all this crazy work. Yesterday, all I had to do was go to Trade Ideas and say, hey, show me a bunch of stocks that were up yesterday, and just go through those. And it makes my job much easier now. So I brought you a bunch of these names, but just note, I am seeing what's happening in the morning. Relative strength, like anything, can break. So if these names start to sell off with the market, then we're just going to move on. And I would like the market to chill out a little bit before I even enter these names. But what I'm bringing you is just a bunch of names that held up amazing in yesterday's sell-off. And it's just, if there's one thing you can take away, obviously it's easier to do this with Trade Ideas, but if you're doing this yourself without a scanning software, just find some stocks that don't sell off when the market does. And I think you're in a good place if you're looking for relative strength. So I'm going to start with an overall sector, a sector that held on phenomenally and actually made new all-time closing highs yesterday. And that's healthcare. I made a little joke on Twitter that they're still going to need healthcare. You're still going to have heart attacks. You're still going to, regardless if it's 50 basis points or 25 basis points or whatever the Fed guys are predicting now, there's going to be some sectors that always do well, right? Brendo obviously just mentioned gold. XLV doing financially was up 1% yesterday, all-time closing highs. And to me, a really nice looking chart. That blue line that I put in, that was the prior highs in the beginning of the year. We broke that. We've held that level and a new all-time closing highs. So you can either just trade the index if you like the look of this and we start to move higher, or you can just try to find some healthcare names that it takes a look at. This next one is more for people who like these kind of micro cap type of things. This, to me, is a lovely looking cup and handle pattern in a company called Zedged, I don't know what it is, ZDGE. I guess they make mobile games, mobile app games. Was up 7% yesterday when the market was bleeding. Again, very low float, under, I think, $50 million in market cap, so be very careful with this name. But this is a great looking pattern and a nice strong name. So again, my job becomes very easy. If the market settles down today and this starts to move higher, then that's one that I'm interested in. If the market continues to sell off and this name, gives up its strength and sells off with the market, then I move on there. So next one here is GFL. And a lot of Canadians probably see this going around. Waste management company, so garbage trucks, that type of thing. It makes sense. Another sector that even if the market's going to sell off, people are still going to need their garbage taken out. This one actually had earnings yesterday. Nice, strong green candle you can see there, closing at highs, not quite all-time highs, but breaking out of this base, this resistance line that I drew there. A great look on that. You can see the increased volume there. It was 5 times normal volume on this break. Really, really strong day. Again, looking for things that are completely ignoring the market sell-off when it happens. Last but not least, a pharmaceutical name out of Israel. This is Teva, T-E-V-A, had earnings 2 days ago. And you can see this nice wedge or flag pattern that it's continuing to hold above and close above. Was up about 0.5% yesterday, 2 times normal volume. So the takeaway, I think, from all of this is, you go on Twitter and everyone's running for the doors and, oh my God, the market's selling off. We're down 4 or 5% off all-time highs in some of our sectors here. XLV is making new all-time highs. Some stocks are doing really, really strong. So if you're a swing trader, if you're an investor, these are the times where you put your emotions down and you just go, I'm just going to find a bunch of stuff that's not selling. And when the market rebounds, I'll have a good list of names that I can look to buy. So that's what I did last night for you guys. And that's what I'm going to spend my entire day doing, is just watching and seeing, hey, build a shopping list. And then when the market finds a bottom, I'll have a shopping list ready to go.
You make a good point. I want to touch on that a little bit further, in the sense that I think a lot of people have a problem when, you sit here and stare at a chart of the Qs or a chart of the SPY, and it just keeps making lows. It's difficult to step in and say, yes, these are relatively strong and maybe holding on to a gain throughout the session, but to actually step in and start buying things when the overall market is very, very weak is tough.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's that shopping list building. It's, I like these names. Let me watch it. If the market's in free fall, I'm not going to do anything. That's what the old Warren Buffett quote of, I can just watch balls go by. I don't have to swing. There's no strikeouts in trading. And it's the same thing. I'm going to build this list. If at the end of the day, the market falls apart and all of these names are at lows and have broken these levels I've drawn, I just make a list for the next day and then rinse and repeat. So for a swing trader, when the market's trending up, there's not a lot of work to do because you have a full portfolio and you just trend up with the market. It's these times where it's time to sit down and do work, which doesn't necessarily mean enter trades. It just means build your list.
Yeah, great differential. Great stuff. Michael Noss, as always, have a wonderful long holiday weekend on this side of the border. We'll see you next week.
Okay. See you next week.
You to Michael Noss, fantastic. And building that shopping list is important. What's interesting, though, is I actually feel like Michael might have forgotten a name on that list, one of his absolute favorites. I was shocked not to hear a pick or an idea on AMC from Michael Noss. That said, anybody that's interested watching our stream, all you got to do today for a little bit of fun is check out this QR code. Have a chance. It's stonks.com. And the only thing that reports after market tonight is AMC. I mean, maybe there's something else, but not anything anybody cares about. But they're going to be reporting after market tonight. Yesterday, it was Apple. We had predictions on Meta the day before. Was able to win. I didn't win anything on the prediction on Apple. But if you want to enter for free, a chance to guess the price of AMC after market, all you got to do is scan the QR code, click the link below, and then put in your guess. It's pretty simple. You just go to the website, you can claim your free entry, which I can do live, hit the claim. I don't know where, I'm going to let AMC open up before I actually make my prediction, but you can see the past prizes, the total prize pool, and then you can go in and make your prediction on where you think AMC's price is going to be. Clearly not $464.09, but it's fun, it's free, and we want someone in our community to be the ones that are winning. So good luck out there predicting where the ape stock is going to go today.
Even the upgrades on this list trading lower given that overall market drop, but a few interesting names on both sides, starting with Mobileye getting an upgrade here from Morgan Stanley. Qualcomm getting an upgrade as well from DZ Banks, both of those recent earnings names on this list. We have Intuitive Surgical getting an upgrade here from Redbird Atlantic with a price target increase from $380 to $510. So ISRG, interesting look here. And we also have Barclays upgrading Ferrari. On the downgrade side of things, Crocs downgrading, getting a downgrade here from Raymond James. We have Jefferies downgrading Alexandria Realty, JP Morgan downgrading Centerpoint Energy, and of course we have to talk about Intel here, getting a couple different negative analyst notes, including downgrades from Bank of America, as we have here, and also HSBC. Bank of America lowering its price target here from $35 to $23. We had HSBC talking about Intel's, quote, head-scratching margin miss, so INTC getting some analyst issues here in addition to that move down on earnings, guys.
Yeah, so we talked about this a couple minutes ago before Michael Noss, potential bounce in the market. There's 0.5% right there. Almost a quarter, just more than 0.25%. We just bounced off of a key level again if you're looking at VWAP and you're trading the TQQs. So there it is right there. Good little bounce, and look what's been happening. So it's trying to get back up there. I mean, it came over here, and I said I've made crazier predictions before. And we called potentially that, and then there it is right now. So the futures, if you guys took it on that call, it's a good one, man. It's you just made about 100 handles or so on the futures right there. So there it was, man. I mean, that's, we'll wait to see. I mean, this market is well from opening, like we said when we went over there to Michael, and that's why I brought to everyone's attention gold and all that kind of stuff. Kind of knew Michael was going to talk a little bit about that. That's breaking higher now as well. There's Apple 214. Looks like that might have held. This is just temporary. Whatever happens now, it's like we made that call at 8:45. Like this could be down 3, 4, 5%. And I actually just put out the sticky note right now, and I said, wait for a big flush to happen. I don't know if this was the big flush or not, but now we at least have levels down here on names that we like. We have that Apple now 214, and we're still a half hour away. I don't have any bids. I have no orders out whatsoever. We have that level that's trying to hold, right? On Amazon there, we have a 165 area that's held. I don't know. This one didn't bounce as much. And then obviously the king of the castle, which apparently is the dirty rascal right now. Nvidia held 100. So that's now twice. Once you saw it on the market recap show on Tuesday or Monday when Microsoft came out, held 100, and then now today, this morning, in this sort of flush, and that's not even really that much of a flush, $6 on Nvidia, but that's 6%, I guess. That's decent. So we'll have to wait to see if that 101.50 holds out. So yeah, it's going to be one of those days again here. Wow, just funny to see how high we were flying not too long ago and then where we are right now. So, all right, S&P now down 85 points. Dow futures down 476 and NASDAQ down 430. It's getting a little bit choppy out there. The tides are not rising today.
Got him.
Oh, good. Oh, did you? Okay.
There was a fly, and I finally had something to get it with. Anyways, there was a fly rolling around. I finally had something I could actually hit. I had this little boot thing that I wear on my cast. He gone. No, he gone. Don't even flash that around. I'm not going to show you guys the body.
He didn't make his way over here really today. It wasn't.
He was hanging around. He was on my crutches. He was on my desk. It was just a matter of time. Let's go back up to the desk. Wow, already 9 o'clock. Let's go.
That's good.
All right, wanted to mention Coinbase as well. If there wasn't enough to look at, Coinbase downside a little bit here this morning. It's holding on a little bit better than the rest, though. That's a daily chart, so we're at huge levels for Coin. Revenue beating expectation across the board, a little bit better than expected. Quarter in general for Coin, but BTC not looking too good this morning. We are downside ever so slightly, but holding on to decent support as well.
Yeah, Coinbase's earnings are not bad. They definitely said they wanted to emphasize diversification in their revenue streams going forward. If you're looking at crypto, though, we also had Marathon Digital, MARA, reporting last night as well. They had a 78% increase in their hash rate on a year-over-year basis and 78% increase year-over-year on their revenue. However, they did decrease their Bitcoin production by 30% year-over-year. So a couple different crypto earnings names to be aware of on this Friday.
Yeah.
A lot going on already.
So much to look at. Let's get right into everything else you need to know here if you haven't done so. Go down to the description of this video. Right now, there's a link to the watch list. All you have to do is enter your email address, and that's it. And then it just shows up every single day in your inbox for free. We do all of your homework for you. There's a ton to know here. So let's talk about Intel to kick things off. 24.2%. That's off the lows as well, trying to hold $22 right now. I mean, a lot of details as far as the earnings are concerned, but nothing too positive here for Intel.
Nothing too positive. They were talking here about a $10 billion cost reduction plan. Part of that cost reduction plan apparently involving 15% of workforce cuts. So looking to lay off roughly more than 15% of its employees. So that name not great. They did have an 80% EPS miss. So estimates of 10 cents per share. They reported 2 cents per share. They missed on sales. There are very few bright spots here in this Intel report, but definitely worth being aware of and keeping in mind that $10 billion cost cutting plan involving layoffs.
As expected, all of the analysts ganging up on Intel this morning as well with negative, either reaffirming negative outlooks or there was one, Raymond James was the one I saw that was an actual downgrade to market perform from outperform for Intel.
Forget about that 2 cents per share. They lost money this quarter. They had a net loss this quarter. That's adjusted EPS. So whatever you want to say, when everybody was making money, they're losing money. Their margins got worse. There's really nothing fundamentally positive that you're going to say about it. This is one, I'll tell you right now, like I still own shares of this thing. I've sold twice, bought twice, and I was asked if I was going to buy back at this level in the chat. I was waiting to the back end of the year to make a decision on that. Always see, do I like the next report? That's a resounding no. It's disgusting. And the crazy thing about it is the money that I was going to put into potentially this quarter into Intel, it's already gone into a dip buy in Nvidia. And then I mentioned the other day, not AVGO, it was not Broadcom. It was ASML. Why am I saying AVGO? It was ASML. But ASML's down as well. Look, you're not going to find support levels unless I really zoom this chart out. So you're down so far. I was thinking pop and fade into 23 when I sat down, and then this happened. We get the number. Obviously, everything's looking crazy. 23 to 23 quarter was kind of this pre-market resistance level. That felt like a spot where you allow the buyers to come in at the open, potentially do its little SSR bounce, and then fade. It's easy to say the previous low was 25. That's where I would fade into. I felt like maybe when I was in the car home last night, that was a possibility where previous support could have been resistance. Now you'd have to jump 10% at the open to get there. Actually 10+% at the open to get to that level. I'm not really seeing anything obvious. Then just try to, if we trend down, maybe look at VWAP. I still think maybe the pre-market high as well. And suddenly every even dollar level just becomes a potential SSR bounce play, being down 20-something% at this point. I mean, if it gets to 21, I won't mind taking a shot down there. If I see one of those quick little bounces where you can get a scalp long because it's so far to the downside, that's the kind of long I'll be looking for. In and out very quickly. Whereas if we just find a trend to the downside, I'm going to be looking to join it. And on top of that, the name that's next, I think might be more appealing if it gets 10% down to try to look for an SSR bounce.
Look, I mean, Intel has been, it's almost worse than Ford because of the fact that you've missed so much opportunity in so many other names. I mean, you can go all the way back. Yeah, no, not even a joke. I mean, I'm just saying like this back here, if we go all the way back into here, this is 2017, we were $33. 2017, $33. 2016, $33. Today, $23. So it's like these bottoms were really nice right there, and you had a huge move back, and that's great. It joined the AI run, right? But when you look at this, man, I mean, Intel was good because they're used to pay a little bit of a decent dividend actually in this space, which is why a lot of traders, I feel like, liked it. And it was good, man. It was really steady. It was kind of just doing absolutely nothing while we had this huge tech boom throughout the 2000s, right? 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22. Obviously, we had COVID in here as well. But these bottoms now have breached. And it's just like, you know, I can even put a monthly chart on if you want, but this is a weekly for Intel going all the way back to 2017. You're not even close. So I don't know. This is not like a recent story or anything. They haven't been performing well in decades. So Intel continues the slide down. And yeah, look, I mean, they're a huge company. There's 100,000 employees. Feel bad for the stock options and all that kind of stuff, but I'm sure there's still a lot of money.
Not 100,000 anymore. They're cutting 15%.
But it was 130, I thought.
Oh, there was, yeah, well, okay. Well, for now.
Well, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So still a huge employer, a huge company, and it's really sad to see that. So we'll hopefully better days are upon us. But for right now, the Nasdaq is a problem, and obviously Intel being such a big part of.
One note on them before we move on.
What are you gonna do?
If you look at what they were supposed to be trying to do in the next few years, the foundry side of the business, GFS isn't really taking it as poorly as them. And if this can hold out just for a potential pivot to something that would give you exposure to chips being made in America kind of deal, these guys holding on to some of their lows could be an opportunity. It's just held on to like the same bid for quite some time and hasn't made any fresh lows in terms of possibly a little bit more stable stock. We'll see. But the next one on there is a doozy. You don't often get something like an Amazon trading where it is, guys.
Now underway here for Amazon, still 9.5%, as you mentioned here. Darren and I were just discussing the streaming side of things. I mean, it's getting to a point where there's so much competition for ad buys specifically that it's becoming harder and harder. And then this comment caught my eye this morning during the call last night. They came out and said, you know, they're on purpose going to have meaningfully less ads than Netflix, YouTube, Disney Plus, even in the ad-supported tier. Now, I mean, I don't know about you, but I got to a point with YouTube, I had to get premium because it was every 3 minutes, there was like 3 minutes of ads. So I know with Amazon, there's typically 2 at the beginning, and then maybe 1 somewhere in the middle, and that's usually what I've seen so far.
Yeah, I think it depends, too, on the length of what you're watching. But either way, their ad revenue actually gained 20% year over year, but it did miss analyst estimates. In terms of the main numbers here, we had a revenue miss. EPS, though, quite the beat here for net income or EPS. They actually hit $1.26 per share. This was up double from on a year-over-year basis, and it did beat estimates as well of $1.03 per share. However, yeah, they missed ad revenue, $12.8 billion versus $13 billion estimated, and their Amazon Web Services, they actually beat on that, so $26.3 billion versus $26 billion estimated. One interesting thing, though, was their guidance, which was a bit disappointing here. They guided $154 billion in revenue to $154.8 billion, or sorry, $158.5 billion for the upcoming quarter. Analysts were looking for $158.25 billion. They said this weaker guidance had in part to do with consumers being distracted by things like the Olympics and ongoing news events. So interesting guidance there from the Amazon CFO.
And being distracted by Instagram, if you go back to Meta's ad revenue and Meta's earnings report in general, that's where the ad revenue is going right now.
Yep, there's no question about it. Look, Amazon is down 9.5 points, so there's a decent chance that like with 1 tick at the open, and it has to be after 9:30, it will go into a short sell restricted where you need the uptick for it to actively remove liquidity from the bid to go short. The other thing at play here is right about 168.5. I kind of think over under that price. That's the 200 period moving average. It was the pre-market low that we played at. If Amazon is bouncing above that level, I wouldn't want to be fighting shorts until it's 71 or 74. But right now, this 165 bottom in here, I feel like if we breach that, that's the even dollar level for a potential quick little bounce play at the open. It might be the first one to come into play here, especially given that the market's making a pretty attempted, decent bounce, and we're still just hanging out 9 to 9.5% to the downside on Amazon. It's not really pressing up as much as everything else is. So I think you will get a possible test of that 165. If it does that, goes 10% and holds 65, I'd look for a quick snap long at 9:30.
All right, so you're going to see here once I get rid of that. All right, so this is the 200 period moving average, right? This goes all the way back. We have never really breached at all. I mean, I guess that's a bad wick right there. And this line will just continue more and more and more. Unfortunately, we have a couple of bad wicks there. I can't show it. And the split and everything. Now we're below. So there we go. We were just up here at 180, 190. Then you get that huge flush. Now you're getting an opportunity to buy a great company, a great stock, a game changer at its 200 period moving average. I think it's a no-brainer. I like the stock for a long term. Doesn't mean that it's going to work today. We have thought about the market bouncing a little bit, and I think we've been right on that. It's been 2.5, now to 2, 2.25, back up to 2, 2.5 again. So we'll see if these levels can hold. But yeah, 165. So I wrote down on the sticky note here 168. And again, we wrote all these levels before the jobs came out. So unfortunately, that hit and then just kept on going to the downside. So if we take a couple bucks off of that, you're at 165 and change. I think some of these names get bought back up. I don't think you're going to have that much opportunity. I mean, you remember what happened when Microsoft went to its 200 period moving average at 390? It was just rocket ship straight up from there. Boom, there's that resistance from April down to the downside, hit it, right back up to the upside. So I really like Amazon down here. I think it's a buy today. I will not be shorting this name, but that can always change. I mean, I was yesterday, I think I had yesterday written down all longs on this sticky note, and then we wound up smashing AMD and Nvidia and all those names to the short side. So I think you got to be really specific with what you're looking for. I think we're looking in the right space. Amazon long, to me, makes sense today. I think it gets bought up from these levels for sure.
Part of the show brought to you by our friends over at PIA, privateinternetaccess.com, VPN. Go check this out right now. Yeah, get 83% off. Right now, it's $2.03 per month. That's it. $2.03 per month. Trading on public Wi-Fi. Very, very risky. Your data is vulnerable, like sharing secrets in a group chat. Private Internet Access VPN secures your connection with encryption, creating a safe tunnel for your data. Trade confidently from airports, coffee shops, hotels, wherever. PIA also lets you bypass geo restrictions, accessing trading platforms from over 91 countries, and all 50 U.S. states. Protect your trading with PIA. Get 83% off, just $2.03 per month, plus 4 extra months right now. Rated excellent on Trustpilot. Shout out to our friends over at Private Internet Access VPN. If you need one, great deal, $2.03 per month. Go grab it right now. Let's touch on Nvidia here. This out this morning. It was a matter of time. DOJ going to probe Nvidia for antitrust allegations of monopolistic practices. We haven't heard that before from them.
Yeah, this is being reported by, I've seen the Politico and the Information both reporting this. Basically, apparently the DOJ actually reaching out to NVIDIA's competitors, including AMD being named here, basically looking to gather information about this complaint. We had this report published last night. Also, one of the main parts of this investigation here is the idea that NVIDIA potentially charging its customers higher prices for products if that customer is looking to buy chips from a competitor, for example, AMD and Intel. NVIDIA, though, saying that the company, quote, wins on merit, according to a spokesperson, so they're denying these allegations.
Yeah, we gave back the entire Fed Day move yesterday, guys, so we'll look to bounce here potentially today off this 104, 105 area.
Or 100? Well, I mean, we'll see. Like, it bounced. Look, we did get 101.5, and then a couple of days ago, there was that press in the aftermarket that you had live there, Sean. It got to that $100 level pretty much on a T and bounced. So I feel like this is one of those trades that, you know, you get there, everyone's going to be really fixated on the 100. I'm not going to argue with that, but I'll submit this, that the lows that you make off of a number like that, I think are a little bit valid as well. So I wouldn't want to discount where it already bounced. Like if it's going to be good and there's dip buyers on Nvidia in front of 100, then sometimes the best bounces are the ones that don't always get there. And at the open, that could be the case with Nvidia. So I would want to respect, 101.5 is the current low. That puts it in play, that to 102 for an early look. I've got yesterday's low written down here. Like if 107 goes, I think room to 112, maybe more like 111, 111.5 if it can chew through yesterday's low price. But, first look would be find that bottom off the 100 level. And just another chip name out there that is in play is going to be ARM. Now, ARM, like a lot of other things, is short sale restricted. It didn't get as close as I was thinking it would on that market dump to its 200-period moving average, which is down around here at 106. But it's right at this key support level, or close enough to it, that if we do get a tick down, I mean, ARM, you can see the 200-period there. You can see a support at about 108, 109. Yeah, down under 110 is where I was thinking for a bounce play on ARM. A little surprising to me when the market did that dump at 830. ARM didn't quite fall as much as everything else.
Yeah, ARM has, oh man, this might be the nastiest one. From $190 back on July 12th. What? Like, think about that. It's August 2nd right now. This name is down 60%. Like, this name is down $70 from 190 all the way down into these levels. I mean, people are buying this name up here. If you liked it up here, I mean, and I feel the same way about all of these names. I don't feel as strongly about ARM as I do about Nvidia, obviously. But again, fall from grace, right? So I wrote down, let's watch out, because we smashed yesterday the $500 level on Meta. We hit big key levels short on AMD. We even hit levels short on Nvidia. Apple, like, levels are breaking and they're going, is what I'm saying. So at the end of the day here, I think it's, you have to look at this 100. Now, we got that, again, you know, we talked about this market. Oh my, I mean, right there, let's face slap it up. We were down 2.5% and, you know, talked about a possible move back up. So right there, it's a huge move back up right now. And it's being led a little bit by Nvidia. It's too bad that I wrote down on the sticky note, play 50. Exactly what I wrote on here. Play 59 if we take it back to the upside. And of course, you know, that's what happened. But anyways, chip name's starting to go. We can also look at AMD, as that was another name that was talked about here. I'm not worried about DOJ or anything. I'm just more worried about the sector in general, as there's been a lot of profits taken off this. You want to talk about ARM. ARM's fall from graces in the last month. AMD's had its high back in March where it was 220. It's also down that $90 from its high. Its high at least was 220, not 190. But there it is. It's a nice move to the downside here for AMD. And at some point again, you know, if you like it, you like it. We actually talked about SOXL, and we went through some levels there as well when we did that work 20 minutes ago, when everything was way worse than it is now. This is going to be an interesting morning. We still have 10 minutes before the NASDAQ imbalances come through. I want to thank Russell Jackson again for gifting like crazy here on the chat. Thank you for all the memberships that you keep on dropping through there, man. Again, thanks so much. I don't see Ramin here. I was going to say drop down a couple bucks for some Wingstop. But she's not here today. I don't know. Maybe she's. Yeah, you can still. Yeah, Fabian.
Wings right now.
Fabian's saying we could still do that. We could still get some Starbucks and some Wingstops going on here. But no, thank you, Russell Jackson. It means a lot, and spread the membership love out there. And it's $5 a month to become a member. And thanks for Russell for dropping. I don't know how many. Maybe Bears versus Bulls can let us know 20 or 30 so far. So thank you so much to Russell Jackson.
We're holding up a little bit better than most right now, 1.58% currently, trying to head back below 215. But it wasn't all bad as far as Apple earnings are concerned. I mean, it wasn't bad at all, really. China was the problem. But record-breaking revenue coming out of India specifically. We all knew that China was going to be a problem. They've been talking about it for months and months here.
Yeah, China, much like what we saw with Starbucks' earnings as well earlier this week. Both companies have had issues with China. We did have Apple having a bit of a miss here for its China net sales, decreasing 3% on a year-over-year basis. The other numbers, though, as Brendan was just alluding to, very generally positive. Earnings per share, $1.40 versus the estimates of $1.35. We had revenue here, $85.78 billion. So that's more than $1 billion above the estimate of $84.53 billion. So good look there for revenue. We had iPhone revenue coming in here, $39 billion versus estimates of $38.8 billion. Mac revenue more or less flat here. Slight increase as well for iPad revenue compared to the estimate. And service revenue here, quite a bit of a beat as well. So generally, a lot of these individual product segments beating as well. But again, China being the main problem here in this report.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really terribly exciting as far as what happened after the close yesterday. I mean, as we said, it was, I think everyone that did bet over at stonks.com were outside of what ended up being the range yesterday, guys.
I mean, it was a tough one because, you know, it kind of felt like right when it came out, it felt like Apple was about to save everything. All the earnings were, you know, they were looking pretty nasty. It's never going to be good when you let off, like Intel was the first thing to report, and then Amazon reported. It didn't look good at that point, and Apple seemed like it was going to save us, but it just couldn't break it out in the sentiment that the market currently has. But we've been talking a lot about the 200 period moving average this morning, or 52-week lows, a lot of those types of things. Not so much with Apple. Today, it's the 50 period that is looking to hold. So Apple still has its support underneath it. It's at 215. The 50 period, as simple on the daily, is at 212 half-ish, like right in and around there. I mean, it's just a line on the chart, so it's within a few cents of that. So you're still holding a higher low. The earnings bottom was like 214. I think we ticked down into. So Apple's got some support. If it loses the 50 period on the daily, I'd be like a hands-off moment. Wouldn't want to be fighting this name. It's still got the support until it isn't there. So as far as Apple goes, I do feel like Amazon, because of that 10% and then the 165 level, it might be first for the potential dip buy at 9:30 and just 10 minutes to go. But Apple's right there for its 50-period moving average dip. I don't want to say dip and rip, but I mean, if you like stocks at the 200-period moving average, this one, if it gets there, I feel like there are going to be millions of people that would be dying to buy it, and we're not going to contend with that. It's the 50 period today on Apple.
Look, we wrote down 216 here for Apple on the sticky note. It's below it now, and like we mentioned, we write these things down before the numbers, before 8:30. Try to get it out to you. I still like it. I say trust the process here, and what I mean by that when we're looking at something like an Apple is it's just come back into levels. So obviously we get that flush, completely understand. And now we're underneath 216. But, I don't want to take a data point and be like, okay, jobs are a problem, therefore this Apple quarter even just got that much worse. So I want to see what the market does here off the open. I'm definitely excited now about 214 rather than 216. Remember, I mean, this is 20 minutes, right? So it's at 218 to 219 when we're writing this down. So that's a couple dollar flush into this level. It flushed into that level real hard when that number came out. And then the market all of a sudden took a dump of about 1% from where it was. And then now all of a sudden you're getting a little bit of love back for Apple. So for me, I think the trade is going to be simple at this point. You wait for these dip buys down into here again. I think you can get that flush. We have 3 minutes until the imbalances come through. So when that happens, we'll try to address whatever levels appear to be there. So I'm not going short Apple today, I don't think. I feel like if there's anything that's going to be short, might be a Tesla, it might be the market in general, or names that are just a little bit weaker than Apple. Because with earnings, it's so hard to judge that aftermath, right? I mean, you're only down 1%. Apple's expected move was 3 or 4%. Yeah. So this is well in the pocket for Apple. I think Apple's going to go green today, possibly, and you're only down 1%, 1.4% to start. So I feel like Apple can get back to 218, 219. I just want to make sure I'm in at the right spot.
We're just talking about Snapchat here. Pretty bad, to say the least. 21% now, Adara. $10 coming back into play here in a hurry for Snapchat after, just a bit of a mess of a report across the board. There wasn't much in the way of positive.
Pretty good way of putting it here. Earnings per share in line with estimates, with 2 cents per share. Analysts looking for 2 cents per share. Slight revenue miss, $1.24 billion. Analysts were looking for $1.25 billion. We had global daily active users slightly above estimates here as well, 432 million versus estimates of 431.1 million. But they missed on global ARPU, or global average revenue per user, at $2.86 versus the estimate of $2.91. However, their estimates here not bad for guidance for Q3 revenue. They're looking for Q3 revenue between $1.335 billion and $1.375 billion. The middle of that range is 1.355. Analysts were looking for somewhere here between 1.25 and 1.36 billion. So bit of a mixed bag there for sure for Snapchat.
Yeah, holding on to April lows here currently for dear life is Snapchat. Got to go all the way back to October of 23 to find the next stop possibly, guys, here.
Mixed bag, but there's a lot of bag holders, I think, at this point for Snapchat, because yesterday it was at the 200-period moving average. Today, it is significantly lower than that, obviously, here. So $10 is a nice round number that has a bit of a bid on it right now that it's attempting to break. It also happens that the April low was this $10 level. I know it broke in the aftermarket yesterday. It hasn't traded underneath that in the open market, as I said, since well before April. But you're still going to have to contend with this 10 level. If there is some kind of an SSR bounce at the open, just look at it ride VWAP currently to the downside. Like Intel's not really riding VWAP. Intel's like way under, but this has been riding VWAP. So you get like an SSR bounce off to like 10 or something, then right into this previous low, not the pre-market high, but this lower high in here at VWAP. That would be a spot to look for it to check up. Now I remember Snapchat doing something similar to this before, and if you wanted to short a pop at the open, you had to sometimes let it calm down a little bit. The big level I liked was 1150, and as I said earlier, that seemed like it was more of a possibility overnight for a pop and fade. Now I'll have to look for something different here on Snapchat. I do want to be short this name today. It's just a matter of it being down 21%. Got to look for like a VWAP curl. If that doesn't happen, pre-market highs, like around this like 1075, 1080 area. If it doesn't do a curl there, I just got to be waiting for it. And then sometimes when you get a parabolic move up, look for it to establish a trend. If it establishes a trend, look for the trend break. And maybe I'll be doing the whole trend line thing if it decides to rip too hard. But I'm willing to buy my time on this one.
All right, Amazon's starting to rip up right now. Nvidia does have a little bit of a sell attached to it right now on the imbalances, so that's a little bit of a note there. And you know, we just try to stay with what we're doing, man. You know, we told you we like some of these down levels, right? Amazon right there, 166, coming into that 168 level that we like. So there's some movements happening here where the market seems to want to get going. It was just made a nice move, man. I mean, we were talking about buying this market down here at 18,520, just went to 18,650 right there, 130 handles. That's a good move back. So let's not get too carried away. Snapchat, whatever, man. I mean, this stock hasn't been hot for a minute. And then they come out with this report. I mean, this or Intel, pick your poison, really. I feel like you don't really want to watch both of them. I just think that, you know, they could both bounce back. Like if the market bounces back, we could see some pressure back on some names that are down so badly, right? And so, and again, right into support. So I feel like this is a day two play. Let's see what happens here off the support. Could really get whacked early. That, of course, is Snapchat. I just... You know, we looked at the imbalances there. We talked about how they were all sells early when they were on the New York exchange. NASDAQ came with not much love. I mean, the only bid here, like I just showed you, Intel. So, I mean, this is the thing. I didn't even know Intel was the only bid, and that's what I was just talking about. There's no other bids on here. So I would say you got to watch out. Nvidia is still the sell. Palantir, we sort of glanced over that a little bit. Uber's breaking 60 and did break 60. Wow on that one. To see that kind of a handle on Uber right now, a 5 handle. Healthcare, we've been talking about XLV for a minute, man, and glad to see Michael Noss talk about that as well earlier, about how strong XLV's been and whatnot. Look at what's happening to Merck to the downside, getting buys today. Yeah, SoundHound I just saw in there. That's also a sell. I know that's not a big stock for price-wise, but there's Amazon. So I didn't see Amazon before. That's now a sell into the open as well. So, yeah.
Palantir's has got a little bigger there.
Apple, by the way. Yeah, Palantir, yeah. Apple right there. It's starting to go back up. I mean, Apple went to 214. What's up with that? You know, there's a nice move back, man. We've called... I don't want to say we called the bottom, but we did call that temporary bottom. So here we go, man. Back up to the upside. Let's see what winds up happening right now with Apple taking down 219 right now. Okay. That's, you know, we wrote down 216 that we like the long on Apple. So there it is, man. Breaks it, bumps it. There goes Apple. Nice move back up to the upside, man. And it's really just Apple.
It's only Amazon just dropped $1.50
and
when
Nvidia's
Apple went
chilling. So, all right, man, here we go. They like an Apple right there. And I said right on here, trust the process. So let's just stick with it with Apple. I think that's the one that we'll like trading here today.
Yeah, as long as it holds that 50 period, the 214, the 215 all look pretty good. That's probably the place to go dip buying. Amazon was there a second ago on the imbalances. It looks like it might have paired off a little bit, but Amazon just dropped into 166 right away, and most of it's paired off. Palantir is still a sell of about 700,000 shares, but most of the other names have paired. I think we could see that 10% down test right away on Amazon, and just also very quickly, because we haven't pulled up a chart. Well, I haven't pulled up a chart of Tesla. Tesla catching a bounce as well with Apple back into the 215 area. So this looks pretty good off of 210. 210 key support there on Tesla. I don't know if we're going to get another shot at that one. More likely going to be Amazon. 30 seconds from now, might get that test of 165 even. Intel, we're gonna let that one breathe for a little bit. Same thing with Snapchat, especially if it tries to pop to the upside first. Want to look for a bit of a fade on that. So it's going to be a wild Friday. Be patient, be vigilant. The market's going back to the upside, but note what is going and what isn't going up in this moment. Let's get on over to it. There we are, to Adara. Let's ring it in 5, 4, 3, 2. You know what to do.
All right, let's go. I'm looking to see if we can break a little bit higher here, possibly on Nvidia through this pre-market of like 106 and change, upside somewhere around there for Nvidia, 106.50. 106 and change, but it is pulling back into 100. We do want to watch that. That is for sure. Apple, again, as this market opens, welcome. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribers. We're going to go over a bunch of different names here. There's Apple. Apple's really ripping now, so that's a great move for Apple, back up to 250. So good little level there to have a quick look at. Again, dip buys back into 217 maybe for Apple, but that's gone right now. So, yeah, for right now, Apple will have to wait on that one. Nvidia's coming in just a little bit, but not near that 101 yet, that 101 bottom. We're looking for 100 as well. Looks like Apple does want to take out that 220, man. Maybe that's the play right now, Apple. But Nvidia is still on my mind. I think this is going to be an interesting one here, down 5% and trying to figure out what it wants to do.
Yeah, and looks like Amazon did not breach 165. It got to 165.30 something and is already making a bit of a bounce. So that's gotten away, certainly. ARM is tanking. ARM's down 7% and headed to its 50 period on the daily. That was a 108 to 110 is the grid that I'm looking at on ARM. And Snapchat is very close to breaking the $10 level as well, about 10.15 on Snapchat. As ARM tanking, Nvidia 100. All right, I mean, I want to be focused on Nvidia and AMZN here, but Snapchat very likely to break 10.
Oh, God, is it? Okay. We're just into Amazon.
No.
Oops, sorry, wrong stock. I was watching that. NASDAQ now down 2.2%. NASDAQ down now 10%, as Brendan mentioned to us all earlier today about the NASDAQ and sort of its fall from graces there. So now down over 10% as we officially open. All right, so yeah, watch out now. There's that pre-market bottom that just was held there at 165.30 or so for Amazon. So I'm in this name. Right now, Amazon long, trying to see about that 165.30. Would hate for it to drop, but if it does, it does, and we'll get out of this way at 165. So that's sort of what I'm looking at right now. We're long on Amazon. What you got, homie?
Intel is absolutely
tanking.
So look,
ripping?
Intel is tanking. It broke the low. I got Snapchat fill, and there was a little bit of a weird fill.
Intel, yeah,
no, but Intel maybe missed a bottom break on Intel. That's what I was going low about, because everyone in the back was also saying the same thing. Snapchat broke the $10 level. I was able to get filled. I then left an order in and actually got picked up on the way back with a bit of a late fill. Like, it was crazy. Like, I didn't get the actual fill right away, so I threw another order, and they both came in at the same time, so maybe it was just a late reaction. I've taken some out the 85s, going to get some out at the 70s, but wow, Intel. When Intel lost the bid, it was completely insane. I was just looking at it on a level 2 and couldn't quite get over to it fast enough. I want to pivot to
a monster.
Apple is ridiculous. Amazon's making the bounce as well. I'm going to see if I can't get into this off the 66. Missed a chance, I feel like, at that 65 level here on AMZN. But yeah, not a good day for Intel. Let's just leave it at that. It's nasty, nasty, nasty for Intel. This is why I didn't want to dip buy that one. There's stocks that you want to dip buy, and then there's Intel.
Intel's down 27%. Okay, we're long Amazon right now. This could be your big one here. We're long at 166. But let's see what winds up happening here. I don't want to dig in too much to it at these levels, right? I mean, it still has to go, and it's not going. So the highest. So we did have 30 cents in the money. It did hit this 166.70. So that's kind of where I'm waiting right now. So there it is. So we get the fill there at 60, sorry. We get the fill at 60. It's just 25 cents. Let's see if it wants to go. We do have shares on this name. You guys know that. So we're going to wait for that. Nvidia, again, it's just dancing around here. I'd rather kind of play a break. So, I mean, I'm thinking 105 maybe 105.50 break here if it wants to get going there right now. So, like we said, man, real traders are trading real names. And right now we do know that the traders behind us are on Intel. And there it goes, as Neil and I both on active names today. So, yeah, there goes Intel, down through $21. And I mean, the worst just keeps on getting worse. I told you this has been dead money for more than a decade. And now you've broken below even those levels. So, yeah, Intel really having a hard time here right now. But we didn't even talk about XOM. They had a report today. Which
XOM was great.
Yeah. Well,
no. The report was great. I don't know what the stock did, but the report was good.
The stock is fine. The stock is up 1%. Apple's really got going, man, up to 222 right there. All right. I think we just heard from Adara, or maybe, Adara.
One larger name moving to the upside here is Next Era Energy, NEE, market cap of $161 billion. They're actually the largest component in the energy or the utility segment, and they trading higher here today, up 2.4%, getting a price target increase from Morgan Stanley. So good look for NEE. There's a lot of other stocks facing pressure to the downside, guys.
I missed it.
You know what? In complete hindsight's 2020, the Intel break should have been the one over Snapchat. But hindsight, you know what? $10 is $10.
Yep.
Sometimes that's going to happen. Like $10, a $10 break in a stock that was bad, and maybe it's my personal bias that got the best of me there. But Snap's at 950. Intel just ran to 21. And I was just telling Sean, like, out of the corner of my eye, I felt like I was looking at a level 2 out of the corner of my eye that was AMC or GameStop or something along those lines. That's what Intel felt like. So here comes Amazon into that 165. It did tick 10% down. So it is already short sell restricted, this name. That's why I'm looking for a bit of a bounce. Intel might see $20 today. I might take a shot at $20 for a bit of a bounce play. The other thing is Apple's trying to make a higher low. That could be worth it, but I want to get my bid out there on Amazon before we go over to Apple. So Apple's trying to make a higher low here, holding VWAP. Find me something that's trying to hold VWAP to the good. And I'll wait for it, but I'm guessing it's pretty much only Apple.
We're potentially holding on to something here that could go. Let's just see. Amazon's trying to go. Nvidia's also trying to go right now. I like an Nvidia break of 105.50. I think we kind of talked about that. We also talked about looking at SoxL or something. AMD maybe also coming into play again. Yeah, 105.50 maybe on a break for Nvidia to try to grab that. But it's if Amazon can go, this is going to be something. We just got a good little fill down there. We're basically flat on the name, but it's moving around so quickly that it's hard. Like we were just at O's there, now we're tanking. See? Wow.
Well, I mean, the bounces
this is what I mean. This is like Fast and Furious. Hard to judge, ring any registers or do anything like that right now on really on any name. I mean, if you have that Intel short, you got the Intel short, right? I mean, that registers sort of already been rung there, the Snapchat maybe as well. Intel's now trying to come back upside here right now. I'm not going to go over Snapchat because I see that you have that, obviously. All right, so here comes Amazon. Looks like it wants to break lower here, guys. It's the one that's not sort of like the rest. Now Nvidia's catching a bid, as is Apple's back at its highs. There we go. We are now into Nvidia now on a 105.50 break. Let's see if it wants to get going here. Again, just with sort of the action that we've seen here, we could get a huge winner. We could get just an absolute flush in this name. So let's see what this wants to do right now. It's Nvidia. We took a little piece out there at 65 or something. Let's now see where we go with Nvidia. We're long at 105.50.
Yeah, Nvidia, good look there. I think, Amazon looks like it wants to lose that 165. Intel's trying to pop. I said I would short maybe VWAP. Yeah, VWAP's a long way away on Intel to try to wait for that. Like, what are we talking about here? So maybe this 21 quarter. Okay, there's Amazon. Amazon actually just made a nice bounce in there, back into 166. Also, just very quickly, I got to pivot to, you'll see Snapchat just came out. We were in at 10. Our best was 958. Held on to that last 10%, and it just took out the $10 level. So all of a sudden, we're only in Amazon to the upside as it's trying to hold 166. Now it's right back at 65. I flipped to Snapchat to show you that came back through, and Amazon right back into 165. It had just printed 66s.
There it goes, man. Yeah, same thing. I've been getting some of that out. Look at this trade on Nvidia right now, boys. There it goes. That's $1 right there off that punch right there of 106.50. That's where it's at right now. 105.50 was the play. So there it goes, man. It's trading, and that was a good one there for us on Nvidia. So let's see if we're going to add to our position or not, but it's a nice little trade there as we continue to go to the upside. I, like Neil, am a little bit nervous here with Amazon because it keeps flushing and not really gaining that bid back up. I mean, keeps on testing 165. Let's let this one roll a little bit. Here goes Nvidia. Again, nice one. Let's see if it can get back up to the upside. Hey, man, we're just 1% in the money off that bottom call that we had earlier. So there we go, man. Let's go. I said when there's blood in the streets, this is that thing. Wait for big flush. Get long. There it is right now. It's 2 for 2. It's your two biggest names here. It's Nvidia and it's Amazon. Nvidia now $1.50 in the money with NVDA. Let's fire off the hot dog cannons again. Hey, man, different month, same results over here. Amazon now, hot dog cannon again. Neil, that's back-to-back dollar clubs right here for everybody. So let's go back over to Adara.
Keep an eye on BJDX. Interesting one here. This is a penny stock. Blue Jay Diagnostics moving up here, trying to chop and churn and push higher, but worth noting some of the details for this one. We have a float of 970,000 shares, sorry, 950,000 shares, market cap of $570,000, so very small market cap and float for BJDX. Also worth noting, of those 950 shares, 3.3% sold short. So Blue Jay Diagnostics on watch, guys.
Okay, Blue Jays, let's play ball. I have no idea. I don't know about them, but we just got VWAP in here coming in Amazon. Now, this is where it turned the last time on the bounce. It got 166.5. We got a couple of reloads in there, but we're scalping out. Then our last fill was 35s. Just grab 66. If we take out VWAP, this is one of these moves where, here, if you break the overnight highs, a lot of off guard. People, let's just put it that way. The stock that is not going up, I just tried to short Intel. That's me trying to short Intel just above $21. As everything started breaking up, Intel dropped another 2% to the downside. So getting into this one,
Look at Apple.
You just got to be a little bit more aggressive trying to find a short opportunity in Intel. It's just that simple. So we're holding on to Amazon. It's about $1, trying to pull back a little bit, but I'd still like to maybe weasel my way into Intel shorts, to steal a term.
All right. Yeah, so far so good. Good trade there on Amazon. I mean, we talked about liking those levels, and it's good that that came in, man. The biggest trade of the day, though, by far, it's not even close right there for me is, I mean, Amazon's fine. I like Amazon, but we talked about this Nvidia, that we really like this 105.50 break. So we took it, man, and then it just goes $2. So, I mean, that's going to have to be a trade, right? And I mean, it's something that I was looking for. It's something that happened, and we're really proud of that. And we're also proud of that call on the futures again, right? And so, you know, that was it for now. I don't know if this move continues. I'm going to get another piece out here if we can get back above 107 now on Nvidia, just because feel like that would be the prudent thing to do. And remember, you know, like when you see me getting out here on Amazon, I have a lot of shares. So when we start to rip up like this, it's taking profit, hoping that even the lot of shares, by the time we even get down to 10 or 15%, it's still good enough that we're able to capture some of these high moves. So we just got a bunch out here as we approach the 50 period, but Amazon is turning itself around right now. It's not like the others. It's a little different. It's a little slower. It caught the bottom and it got going there for sure. Came really close to stopping people out down there at 165. It's not like Apple, and that's for sure. Apple right now, I mean, I even said, again, rewind the clock. When Apple was down 1.5%, I said Apple goes green today. I mean, these are calls that have been happening here recently, and we've been really reading everything real well, man, and that's the other thing. So there goes Apple. I hope some of you had that trade up through 223 and still going. Still on the march is Apple. So good couple trades there. Good execution on Amazon, good execution on Nvidia. Today's just going to be one of those days. So let's just wait to see what happens again. I like everything what we're seeing right now. I like the retracements back. I like the fact that we only have, I mean, we scaled out of Nvidia up here at 107. We did put another 107 there. Would have liked to get a little bit more maybe in that name, but still down 3% on Nvidia, right? I mean, the market's still down and still looking a little bit ugly, but that was a nice little 1% move. they're right back into these levels. So I'd now say you've sort of washed out that employment data, and now you're right back at those levels. So for me, you're in and around this area now is where we're going to start to see someone make a move. So Amazon pulls all the way back to 165.
Yeah, make your move, market, because here it comes. Like that 65 coming into play. I tried again and didn't get it on Intel. I'll get to that in a second, but Amazon just ticked right back into this 165. So I might get one more crack at this level in here. The other thing is ARM is trying to push into the pre-market highs. If it gets there, maybe look for a pop and fade. We didn't get along on that one. So reload on Amazon, and Intel just continuing to fall. So I had this one up. I'm looking to short each pop. This last one maybe into the 21 level as it's trying to get into the upside. So Intel down 29%. Obviously, it's been tanking all morning long. Let's see if it actually presses into this 21 and we can try to catch a fill. Snapchat, maybe not at a reload level. 1040 to 1050 looks like a bit of a level for Snapchat if I'm going to get back into that name. But it's the Intel train or whatever, train wreck that I'm trying to be a part of here if we can catch it. So remember, it's SSR, so the bounces could be pretty quick to snap you up, but you almost have to be on the offer to get filled. Like, this isn't one where you're hitting the bid. And I've tried twice. You'll miss.
All right. We're not missing much right now other than we did just get a little bit of a reload in Amazon. We did not get that reload in Nvidia, unfortunately. Let's see if we can get back up to that 107 level and see if that will work out for us just a little bit there. But we did put another reload there on Amazon. So let's see. We just got some 30s down there. Even some better prices than that. I think 30 we kind of started. Maybe we got a 20. It's coming right back in now anyways. So, wow on Apple, man. I was telling this to Brendan yesterday. We kind of looked over at each other and said, like, oh, man, to pick the top would have been quite amazing. And I said, yeah, like Apple in and around 225 would have been a great out. And then Apple right now is at 225. So, you know, Apple over about an hour ago when we sort of called that bottom at 214, it's now up $10 from that area. The market is trying to go above VWAP. I still like the longs, but definitely acknowledging that some of these levels are coming into play relatively quickly here, and you're going to have to trade around them. So Apple, that's now up 2.5%. I can't believe when it was down 1%, we sort of mentioned that it could go green. I didn't realize it'd go this green, but that is what it's doing right now. The saddest thing ever, and people in the chat saying, has there been a worse company? I'm not sure if there's been a worse name than Intel that was such a major that hadn't had like huge scandals like Enron and stuff like that. But yeah, the market cap destruction in this name and sort of the opportunities missed over the last 15 years. And just, I keep saying the same thing about Ford and all that kind of stuff too, right? All right, talking about new technology. Right. Here comes Amazon trying to break through 165, and we're gone when that breaks. So there it is. It breaks. Amazon down to the bottom now. What a tank right there for AMZN. Huge move down on that flush. Wow, now through 164. Wow,
it's 164 instantly.
It has broke, baby. Downside push.
There was no reverse possible.
My stop was 60 cents. So I got 164.40s on that stop. So yeah, big time level break there for Amazon.
I got 41, so I got the same thing you did. Good thing we're at least trying to scalp out of that one. I think if you weren't taking any profit on pops, that was a big level break. I did finally get into Intel. Hey, look, if Amazon pops back in here and they're selling back at the 165, I'm going to try to get short back into it. But you couldn't reverse that trade unless we have to send 2 orders to get short. So I'm into Intel for the first time. Snap's trying to take 10 to the downside. I'm trying to get short on Amazon if there's even any kind of a pop to get short.
Yeah, we're short Amazon right now. So we'll fire off a little bit of a hot dog cannon right now as we make 60 cents back. And I mean, that's the double-edged sword, right? I mean, when you're trading with bigger shares and you lose that 40, 50 cents, it hurts. So that's what, you know, you have to sort of put up with that. But you know what we do, man? We just put that right back on and we grab that again. So props up to that short replay there. 70 cents now back in the money as if that trade didn't even happen and as if we didn't even lose anything. There it comes down now. Amazon now. Neil, there it is, man. The reversal's now $1 in the money for Amazon. You had to get aggressive to get it, and that's exactly what we did. When our levels break, we get hungrier, and there it goes to the downside. Amazon now almost $1.50 in the money now as 163 just coming into play right now. We'll sit on the bid and see if we can grab some more of that as the market flips its side up right now, right back in. Nvidia downside as well, catching a falling knife on this one. definitely a problem. Nvidia down to the 50-period moving average. Watch out now, 104, 103 break on Nvidia coming up very, very soon, 102.50 there. But yeah, so far so good here on Amazon. We did grab that short back in. I can only imagine sort of what's been happening with Intel right now as that continues probably to get to the downside there. So.
No, when everything went, it actually went the other way.
Really?
On Intel. So Intel was a weird one because I had just gotten in for a scalp trade and then got right back. It broke 21. It's headed to VWAP up while AMD, Nvidia, and ARM are headed to the downside. So I think there's this weird, let's just call it like I don't know. I don't want to say that these guys are correlated, but when this is going up, you're seeing Nvidia and AMD, which I'm going to get to next. AMD was pressing down into VWAP. AMD just held VWAP in there. I mentioned Snapchat's at 10 again, but it's still holding this $10 level back and forth. It's not necessarily a refresher. This isn't the same thing as what Moderna did yesterday. But there's certainly a $10 area that's being held. If it loses this, I do want to be short this name one more time. But I'm just going to be patient with it here on Snap.
Nvidia coming back up right now. We did buy a couple dips there, but just alerting you guys, it's back into the 105 area. Let's see what winds up happening now with Nvidia trying to climb up. So we bought some dips and we just got a piece out. So that's why we hit that siren. We just got some out at 105.08. We bought 104.52s and 104.60s right there. So we'll take 60 cents on the backside of that trade right now. And man, oh man, Neil, did we ever nail this right now on the Amazon reversal play. We are now $2.50 in the money on the Amazon reversal play, breaking through 165. You know, I told you we don't journal because we don't. And it's just understanding where your money comes from just to make the next play. You could journal all you want. If you don't take the trade, it doesn't matter. So I've looked at it. I've studied things. If I miss levels or levels break like that, you have to play with that momentum. Often I've tried to catch falling knives. This time we join it. It's been a big, big difference for me to sort of, figure out what we want to do and then actually go for it. It does make, and there's Amazon right there. There's that $2.50 trade for you. Nvidia, though, we're trying to rest on our laurels with this one. Not working out so far. Adara has news on something.
This part of the show brought to you by Benzinga. Tired of being late to the trade? Always playing catch up in the market? Missing out on the big moves because you're too slow to the news? Benzinga Pro is your unfair advantage. Get breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everyone else. Pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving and join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Ready to see how Benzinga Pro can transform your trading? Visit benzinga.com/pro and get a free 14-day trial. Also worth noting here, Exponential Fitness. This is a post-earnings bounce. Not a ton of volume on this. They just hit 1 million shares traded on the day. But XPOF bouncing here despite a earnings miss across the board. They're also cut fiscal 2024 revenue forecast, but they're a smaller cap name, just under $1 billion in market cap. And they also do have a short float of about 8.8%. XPOF, guys.
Flushing, man. Amazon is now just a $1, a $2, a $3 winner short right now for Amazon. So, yeah, it's really starting to bleed out here. Wow, what a day, what a day, what a day.
It's getting nasty out there. Look, Nvidia's about to come back into that low of 103. We'll see if we get that. VWAP just came and played on Intel, and buyers right here at the quarters. So let's see what happens. I mean, it broke the quarters several times and gave us like the low 20s. I'm trying to get something in here. If we can catch it going down, I want to be adding on the way down instead of on the way up. Nvidia does seem like it wants to make a retest of the low. I said I want to respect not just 100 even, but the established bottom. 103, 101 and a half, the two levels, the open level, and then 101 and a half is where we bounced at 830. That was the low. And then 2 days ago, you had that $100 level. I did want to see if we can get ARM off the highs, but ARM is nowhere near the highs. Probably like 115, maybe for a little bit of a short the pop situation on ARM. I just got to be patient with that one as it's completely gone. And Apple, I don't know if you're in Apple, but Apple and VWAP are allergic to each other right now. Apple 223, $2 above VWAP, a full percentage point. So there might not be an obvious place to join this one. Next thing feels like it's about to be Nvidia, though. So let's just go back. Nvidia pulling into that opening range bottom, which is where we're going to be looking for a dip play. So Nvidia, here we go.
Yeah, we're long right now on Nvidia, but same kind of thing, man. If it breaks this opening range, we got to get out of it, and it's going to be down here. I mean, I just thought maybe if we break 75s, we should get out of some of this position right now, just to lessen some of the blow. So here it goes right now. It looks like it is going to try to get through that level. We're getting out if it breaks. We're not going to get out of it all. We'll get out of half if this breaks that back down below that 103.75 level that it just held. I mean, that was where our stop was initially. Let me see if it can get back to the upside. We were waiting at 104.20s to see about getting something out. Maybe we'll take another piece out if we can get some right now, maybe. Okay, there it is. We get some 05s or 06s there on Nvidia, just lessening some of the blow because this name is heading to the downside. Our day is going to be red because we got hit on Amazon there initially, but we made it back. We're still holding this position now, $2 in the money. I don't want to say our day is going to be anything because we do still have Nvidia on. I mean, our morning, obviously, I don't know where our day is going to be, but right now we are in this trade with Nvidia, and I'm just trying to get a little piece out. It keeps on trying to bounce up and then stops. So there it is, there it is, there it is. All right, so we get some 30s right now. So decent spot right now for us on Nvidia. So we do have that trade now, and we're long here at 104.50s. Finally starting to go. Here we go. Look, man, we put on a lot of shares down there. We were able to scalp something out. It's been a little bit of a different kind of morning, needless to say, but here we go. Come on, Nvidia. Let's go. I see you got that as well.
There's VWAP sellers in here, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No diggity. Lots of doubt.
No diggity,
right
no
now.
doubt.
No, lots of doubt.
Well, okay, well, that's my favorite group. I'll say the lyrics correct because Blackstreet is literally my favorite group. No, there's sellers at VWAP, but it's holding the 104 on Nvidia, at least for now. So I've scalped some out. We get this bounce. If it holds, great. But now if you lose VWAP, I'm tightening right to this wick bottom. If you're a VWAP seller, if I was bearish on the stock, I'd probably be shorting VWAP. So at a minimum, if I'm not bearish, then I would say at least take profit in front of VWAP and see if we can't get another bounce. Holding 104 looks pretty darn good. I did want to get over to Apple because the market's continuing to come back down overall. You guys can see that. Nvidia is dragging down. Apple's starting to lose it. If Apple loses VWAP, I think we're in a lot of trouble. I mean, the market in general. This has been clearly the strong name. So as this pulls back in, if it can't bounce, I don't think we're going to bounce. But it's not a guarantee. I just don't think it's likely at all. I do still want ARM. And I just said I wanted ARM potentially at that lower high, because it broke VWAP and went $1.50. I thought maybe it would break VWAP and do it again and you'd short this price, so I missed the VWAP short here on ARM. I'll have to find my way into this. We did want to short a pop here. Looks like that is getting away from us on ARM.
All right, we're going to try one more time on this level here, and if it breaks it, man. And then we can fly. Yeah, me too. I got stopped out of half of my Nvidia. We talked about that. And that's fine. You know, getting stopped out of half of a trade, it can work. Well, actually more than half. About half right there stopped out of that trade. So we'll wait to see what happens with Nvidia now. And we'll have to hold for a little bit longer, right? We're long at 104. Let's see if we can get this out at 105 and change there now for Nvidia and see if that truly was the bottom there. And if it was, fine. That's why we got to get out. And, we talk about this all the time. You got to make sure that you protect yourself for that next trade that's going to come through. All right. So I'm probably going to go over to find some strength. I know where it is. I'm looking at it right now. It's at Apple. It's at 222.50. It is trying to pull back, but Tesla even as well. Right there off that 210. We called that 210 level as well, but easy to call levels. You just got to make sure that you trade them. All right. So Apple. Here comes the pullback in for AAPL. What's been bad for the NASDAQ is not necessarily bad for every name, but that Apple move was the 224 and it stopped completely there twice. Huge run from 220 right to 224, stopped on a dime, retraced $1, made that level again, retraced now $2. So some of these higher highs are not being made. I mean, we made it there, and then we kind of touched it exactly. We'd like to see it break that high. If we can, then I feel like that could be a go, but that's 224.50. Like, that's a long ways away from where we are right now. So we're going to have to wait to see if that is what's happening. But rate 4 right now, Apple trying to get going. I like that long.
It's strong.
It's very.
You get it?
It's very strong.
Oh, it didn't get to VWAP.
Needless to say, it's strong. Apple up 2.25%. When it was down 1%, we said Apple probably goes green there, and that's exactly what it did. In the market, though, not participating. It was more just a call on Apple itself that seems to be working out. Amazon's trying to make a little bit of a comeback. We only have about 15% left of this play, so we do not have that exact 1 161 bottom there. We'll see if we can get that again. I think we'll just let Amazon calm down here.
Yeah, big shout out and appreciation to Kyle Burdett. Thank you for the super chat in there, saying Intel 30 strike puts expiring today give me the same feelings as Next Too Close did at high school dances. I can actually relate to that. I actually took my high school sweetheart to a Next concert, believe it or not, Kyle Burdett. That said, this is getting too close to the gates of hell. Oh no,
Oh no, what happened?
Yeah, no, I have a bunch of these graphics that mine are just all jacked up. If I hit them, and I know I don't hit them as much, it's like everything on my board, I feel like they're just getting punked. Most of them. We'll have to get some new ones on there. But the gates of hell is where Intel is. It's the only thing we're in. We're going to go to Adair in a quick second. VWAP wicked out. VWAP underneath, back into the short. So I did get wicked out on Intel when it broke VWAP, and when it came back under, I shorted at 30. It just hit 21 even. Let's go to Adara. We've got happening now and numbers.
We're just getting these numbers here. Coming in at 10 a.m. Factory orders month over month for June, a bit lower here than expected, negative 3.3% versus consensus of negative 2.9% and forecast of negative 3%. Factory orders ex transportation, 0.1%. So this is going to be above the previous number of negative 0.7%, but below the forecast of 0.3%. We also got core durable goods and durable goods revised here. So 0.4% for the core durable goods, a little bit below the forecast and previous number of 0.5%. Durable goods revised also a little bit lower here, negative 6.7% versus negative 6.6% previous. So lower than expected here for the durable goods revised numbers and also the factory orders month over month. S&P 500 continuing to trade within this range, around 534 to 537 for the SPY on what's been a pretty interesting day. Lower than expected non-farm payrolls coming out. We also did have, of course, earnings to digest from two Mag 7 names, Amazon and Apple, but a couple more earnings plays holding up all right as we trade lower in the market to be aware of. One of them here, Block. SQ, this one currently about flat on the day. They did miss across the board for earnings per share and sales estimates, but they had profit growth of, gross net growth here of 20% on a year-over-year basis. DoorDash, nice look across the board here, up almost 10%. They beat on sales but missed on earnings per share, had a larger than expected loss per share for DASH. What a day, guys.
All right, what a day, what a day. We just bought some more
DoorDash.
Amazon on the, more Nvidia on that dip there. So we just got a little bit of a reload there for Nvidia. The story's not going to be done here as we'll try to get positive here today. So yeah, let's see if Nvidia goes. We've only traded two names today. We had the Amazon long that we really liked until we didn't, and we flipped it short, which was great to do that. But the follow through still waiting. We do not have that 161 bottom. We missed it. Did not put that bid out. And then Nvidia's been a tricky one for sure because it really hasn't done much. I mean, it had that huge move early, which we got. This is why we're, proud of what we did on Nvidia, because we had that break and it ripped up almost $2. Now, I don't know if it has the juice. Right now, you got to wait for this market to do something. You're still right back down to that down 2.3%. We had a huge move up right off the open, led by
Apple.
And there it goes, man. Apple continues to go higher. What about that break of that high of 224.50? I mean, if the market wants to go, it seems like Apple is going to be the one taking it here again today. So 225, I mean, even looks better because that's where we were yesterday. But at the end of the day, we're still short Amazon right now. And we're long on Nvidia. So let's see. I do like this breakout possibility right there. That's 224.50 possible breakout for Apple. I think we'll take it.
Yeah, I had that as well. Look, Microsoft's not near the top. Google's not near the top. I know we're not talking about those names, but believe me, if they were doing things like Amazon, Nvidia, and the chips, and Intel were, we'd be on them. Amazon's trying to come back into VWAP. I'm looking to short back into VWAP here on Amazon. If I was long it at the bottom, I'd be playing an SSR bounce into VWAP. So I want to try to get short there. AMD, I want to quickly go to AMD for a second. I'm still in Intel. It's hovering the 21 level. If it holds that, I think it gets right back into VWAP. AMD is looking very strong here. Like Nvidia's down here. Oh, that's in that chart. Sorry, guys. Nvidia's down here consolidating, whereas AMD's trying to consolidate the top. So I don't wonder if this isn't one of those days where Everyone wants Nvidia to bounce, including me, and that's where I went long. And instead, it's AMD. AMD's top is 137, about 10. So I'm going to take this breakout on advanced micro devices through 137. I checked my notes, and I had an over-under on this at like 134 because of this level. Actually, no, it's on the 15-minute. 134 because of this bottom. And now that you're above it, I'm kind of looking if it can break this bit of a gap that could get filled here on advanced micro devices.
All right, AMD's really, Nvidia's really coming in there. Nice retrace there on Amazon, but here comes Nvidia. Wow. All right, testing that bottom now of 102.75 or so comes Nvidia. So yeah, not a great movement right here for some of these names. We just did buy some down at the bottom. I don't know. I hope it's the bottom for this name. So we'll see where it flies through now. Hopefully it does not break that bottom. But yeah, it's looking like it. Are we going to get that 100? Oh yeah, there it goes. Are we going to get that 100 test? It is seeming more and more likely right now that does come through there. Little flush through 103 now for Nvidia. Let's take some pressure off as here it comes in right now, breaking lower and lower and lower for Nvidia. And we'll just take that out right now as that breaks through those bottoms. So now I guess we have to be as patient as we can be here with Nvidia and wait.
Well, so much for that.
Wait for that 103. Or sorry, maybe what was the bottom? 101. Right,
I have 101 and a half. I have as the 830 low. I have 102 half.
Market.
102 half is that bottom of Nvidia. Suffice to say that breakout on AMD is not happening now. 2 seconds ago it was there. Now it's not anymore. Nvidia, I feel like it does want to test this bottom. So let's see what happens. It's trying to hold the 102.5. That's the first level for a potential dip. I'm not really seeing much on the bid here. If it can try to bounce, maybe a scalp trade, but I don't see much of a bounce at all on this name. I did want to grab ARM. Okay, the Intel's slowly going downside, but all of a sudden Intel's moving the way Intel usually does, a little bit slower than the rest of these names. Okay, here's a buyer that just stepped in on Nvidia. So the first time we had it in here, it was good. The second time, we'll see if it can hold this 102. I said I want to respect the opening range bottom.
The market is.
And I want to respect the 101.50 and try for scalp trades off that. So I'm along at 80 into 50. Here, as Intel close to the low of the day. If it bounces at the $0.50 on Intel, you're probably going to see me take it out because I think it could go back to VWAP. It's an SSR name.
Oh, man. Okay, well, Apple, we were just all gassed up about that 224 break. And now it's at 222. So Nvidia is getting that. Oh, wow. Apple's really flushing now. Nvidia is getting that love back into it right now. Good call on that one was Neil was looking over there at 102.50. Now at 103.10. It's Apple that is really starting to get going now. Back to the downside. Just a little quick flushy there. And it tried to get going just now. It did not go. So I guess they're finding the strength and getting right back into that name and flushing some of the profits out here today for Apple's. Okay, Apple's rate coming back into VWAP. We just got out there, but this is pushing back in pretty decently now for Apple. So, wow, what a move down. Now, I mean, some of these names, man, I mean, we've been trying to catch some of these bottoms and just not been working out. But here we go. Apple now tries to go back up to the upside. We did put a little bit more on down there, but not been very smart plays right now trying to catch some of these bottoms. I mean, we just talked about Nvidia back up there to 303 and something. And then there's the pushback rate again on that name. So, yeah, a little bit of a violent day that we knew this was going to be there today with all those big earnings heading into the last day of the week, when it's been a complete destruction. The NASDAQ now down 11% from its highs, so that's not good. That is definite correction territory right now for a lot of these names. A lot of these names are in bull territory or bear territory, let alone correction territory. Okay, here we go. Now Apple trying to get back a little.
Yeah, I was going to say, there needs to be a name for what Intel is in. We should just make one up. Gates of Hell's old because I've already used it before, and I feel like that's trash. So you guys let me know. What are we going to call it when a stock is down? I couldn't hear that. I was talking.
You said silicone slump, but this has been a 20-year thing.
Silicone slump.
Silicone slump. Yeah, it's a good one, but Intel is not even.
I don't know. Really. Let's not give them.
All right. Well, silicone.
I want something that when you say it, you want to throw up in your mouth. But there goes Nvidia. It tried to bounce that 102.5. It did get to 103. Got to about 10s, and then that lost again. So been able to get a little bit of a scalp trade, but no secondary move on Nvidia. So it's I can get a flat trade because you take some profit, then it stops out. I didn't get shorts in ARM. Intel's going to hit that low of the day. Didn't get short VWAP and ARM, as I mentioned. And AMD, I'm obviously not taking the breakout in AMD because it's not breaking out. Suddenly, if this holds under VWAP, I don't care if it's strong. The market's losing the bottom. Nvidia seems to want that 100. I missed the ARM short at VWAP. I would probably hate myself if I didn't catch this reversal. Yesterday, you just had to get to the short. It didn't necessarily matter when you did, as long as you got to it at some point. So I'm going to go back to the well with the things that are at key levels. I like bounces. There was Apple, if it can hold VWAP, obviously, which it's at right now. But if VWAP holds the other way in AMD here, I want to see if we can't get into something to the south side, especially if I can't get ARM.
Yeah, we're going to see if we can get Apple going a little bit. I mean, like Neil said, though, there's only so many trades that are going to be available to you. And, you know, Nvidia just, again, like that might be the one. So Amazon's right now at $2 and still going, man. We still will wait for a 161 take or so here on Amazon. So we'll see if that can come in. 161.11. Yeah, I'll get up and get one in a minute. No, it's okay. I can get up. All right, so Apple, I need to take a break probably. 221.30 right now. We're long on Amazon. Sorry, on Apple. See, I'm even confusing the names. Long on Apple, yeah, 221.30. So it's flat right now. It's Nvidia right now that is coming in real quick, man. 101.50. Trying to get lower into 100. Wow. We said, man, would this be something to take if it did come through? It looks like it's trying to get there right now on that play. Good little take for us on Amazon. Did I just put that bid down there? No, I did not. 161.11. Yes, I did. Sorry. So if this falls, we'll take it right now. But Amazon's getting there. Apple's getting there. Nvidia's getting there. Here comes Apple. I want to look at this through 220. Again, I mean, I can't believe I set the keys up for that 224 break, and then the markets just broke on us.
That was insane.
Right there. So
because I had just put in a stop long on AMD for 137.10, and then 2 seconds later, I flipped stocks. Everything was tanking. I was long Nvidia, and now I'm looking to short AMD off of VWAP because that's how quickly the tides can change. That's the right term. Look, this market seems to want that bottom. If we're going to get 100, we're going to get 100, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there on Nvidia. But I feel like,
come on.
Look, I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure about this, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be a few bids on the 100 level of Nvidia. When it gets there, it gets there. Just grabbed AMD off of VWAP, so it just tagged 135 even, believe it or not, and back under at 57. So it kind of tagged 135 aggressively and then came back in. So the chances to get it tight to 135 were not that available. That's how the market's moving. Like if you're not getting it going into you, like you're not getting tight to like 135, you should be able to get like 85 on the way back down. I get 57s. We'll see what happens. I think you can see 133 here. And let's not sleep on what's happening over there on Nvidia. It's right at that 101.50 and attempting to hold. Intel, while they were at this on Nvidia, Intel is at that bottom. If it catches a double bottom, it's an SSR, I'm out. That's simple. And then I'm shorting the next available pop on INTC, still without nickname.
Bastian, you just asked me, am I sure about this Apple log? No, I'm not at all. Actually, I told you before that right now, we're just trying to get a long stock to see if there is a potential bounce. I mean, I can clearly see the market is down 3% right now. I just think that the risk right now at these levels, I feel like to go, I mean, we're already short Amazon. Amazon's $3 in the money. Obviously, we don't have as many shares as we do all these other names that we keep on reloading and getting hit on. So yeah, I mean, I am very, very aware of everything that's happening. And that's why I'm starting to, if you look at, I mean, you can't, hopefully you guys can see this. I'm getting out. Like, look, I'm long on Apple, but have we been wrong yet? I mean, no. You're wrong when you sell. So let's just see, you know, if this name wants to continue doing what I hope it can, and that is get back to the upside a little bit here. So, all right, we're at 221.86 here. Okay. So, you know, we'll face slap a little bit. A little bit of profit getting made back here on the long. You know, we're not going to celebrate anything yet. We would like to see some of these places hold for a little bit better. and we'll go from there. So for right now, there's Apple, nicely done, back up to the upside now, 70 cents in the money, and debating maybe taking this trade off right now, 161.30. We got a little bit greedy. We waited for 161.10. We kind of talked about that. So let's put a bid here into the 50s and just take it out. It's been a big one short for us on Amazon. I don't know if it's going to continue this way. The market seems like it wants to continue to go lower. We're learning lessons every day. We talk about that, right? Like instead of trying to catch the falling knife, you can simply go the other way and just join it. And I think that was, and clearly my best trade today, as after right there, we'll just take $3, was joining the short. So once that momentum happened, we were long and making money here. Then it broke. We got stopped out here. When we got stopped out, we punched short as well. So that's the trade there for Amazon. Stick with the short, but man, I don't know. Nvidia's coming right back in.
Intel's at the low of the day. I got wicked out. Look, I got wicked out of Intel at VWAP. There's no question about it. I had the short here. Tight, we're scalping it out, then took the hit. We had the short here, we're scalping it out, took the hit, then we come right back short VWAP. It just tagged 2050 and then did the over-under. If it was an SSR play I liked long, I'd be in the long. Thank you so much, Brendan. Appreciate the coffee. We need the coffee this morning. The market's moving, so we grab a quick 75-cent move on Intel. And AMD bounces off that bottom. So this was like Nvidia's at the bottom, AMD's at the bottom. So when it did this little fake out it did a couple of fake outs at 133, I grabbed out. Now if it pulls back into VWAP, I'll try to take that one again. And the last name I'm going to go to here, maybe not the last name, but the other one that's in the pocket is ARM. I think ARM, I wasn't watching. I think it went 10% down. I'm pretty sure it did. I'm going to double check that in a second. But it's this 200 period moving average on ARM that I was looking for a bounce down here. So it's in the pocket. The market is trying to make a bid. It's more like 106 to 108 the more I look at it. 110's a round number. It's actually $108 to 106. That is the target zone, I think, for a dip on ARM. Maybe let it gravitate a little bit more to the downside. But I want to maybe short some pops if I can get them in AMD, and still looking for that 100 level on Nvidia. Looks like 101.50 ends up holding. Yeah, you've had to really scalp aggressively any long plays. Like the only thing that's holding that looks good is Apple. Everything else just feels like you're trying to, you're just fighting everything. Apple's the one that's actually strong here. I mean, unless there's something else, you guys let me know. I haven't checked like Mara and Coinbase. That's dumping too. Yeah. There's probably short opportunities there, although Bitcoin's, I've looked at your screen. Bitcoin's almost at 65, though.
I know. I just looked there, too. I was like, okay, what is Bitcoin exactly doing? Because we have left coin by the wayside a little bit here today, for sure, as most of my attention is clearly in one or two places right now. Look, I did not go long Nvidia, and I'm starting to feel some kind of ways because we tried every level except for basically, I don't want to say it's the most obvious one. I thought this was a really good one. Yesterday, I was like, man, this is too easy. Because yesterday we were holding some of these levels. Today it breaks lower, so you give back. I don't have a problem losing on it. I mean, Nvidia is going to be my worst stock today because we broke that 103 right there. But again, when you put up the numbers over the last couple of days and on the week, you are going to have days like this, and that's fine. And we're fine with it. We're well in our risk pocket and everything right now. So, all right. Just a little bit of talk. I am going to try to get some more out of Apple here in the 60s if it can get back up there. The 50-period moving average on Apple is right up here at 221, 222, basically flat, 222.10s. There's a 65 fill that we just got there on Apple. So this is, again, 50 cents back in. I'm going to take a 68 there. I just put the offer. Now I'm going to go up and put about 15% of what I have left up near 222. Just because, again, we just reloaded it again. And I don't know. Like, Sebastian, you asked me in the chat, like, am I sure about the only stock that I have right now being Apple long? And I'm not. I'd like to get other ones, but we've just been scalping it to the upside right there and getting out. And remember, we did have this good out there on Amazon as well. So Amazon, we shorted this. That was our trade. We've only had three trades, Apple, Amazon, Nvidia. And they're all names that we wanted to look at from the jump. So I'm fine with it. Sometimes we'll take lumps on those fills. Snapchat, good call there at $10 as that obviously broke and continues to hold 10. So that level looks to be a good one to short. Excuse me, but you're going to have to get back up 30 cents. I don't know if that's going to happen. Not on a day like this. We just had a nice bump off down 3.5% or whatever it was when I blinked and looked down there as everything was crashing. You could see the NASDAQ did make a little bit of a bump back up there. So Snapchat's not necessarily on my radar. Neil's been hitting Intel.
AMD, I'm looking at now.
AMD's up on the day.
AMD's up 0.5% and did the same thing Nvidia did, which is hold the opening bottom, not the low of the day, but like the open bottom, which was right here effectively at 132.75. So this is a big test. If it can climb through VWAP, I think it's good. If it loses it, I'm probably going to still look short. I don't think Intel's done 110 million shares. This is one of those days where probably Intel's going to be a good stock to trade for most of the day. It's now got a bit of a trend line that at least I can put in. Like it's done like this defined. Here is your open. There is where it bounced at VWAP. So I'm going to leave this on here. And if I'm just looking to short a pop that isn't VWAP, I'm going to short it to this level, which is going to be a moving target. So I'm just connecting where it was at the open, tanked, to where it kind of stopped me out that time. We're able to get back in, which was right at VWAP. If we pop into here and get a curl, I want to look to stay short Intel until it proves otherwise. At the end of the day, I think today if you lose long on Apple, you're not going to be mad. I think today if you lose long short on Intel, you shouldn't be mad at yourself. Because one is clearly the weakest stock and the other one is clearly the strongest stock. You can't do any better than that when you're attempting to trade.
No, I'm always mad if I put on a losing trade, but at the same time, Neil's right. You have to trade. I mean, this is. I've already told you the kind of trader I am. Support and resistance. I try to keep it as simple as possible. Support and resistance and relative strength and weakness. There's really nothing else. And then recently, the best trades for me have come from breakouts. So trying to do that again, right? And so if we can put that through all together, which we've been doing the last little while, then that's good. Like, look what just happened right there again, right? We just got a net, look at that out. So we just got out at 63 and then just got re-long at 85s down there. So like this is scalping and I know we all often get, a lot of credit for the scalping that we do there, but that's a perfect example. Again, just in and out again and out again. And look at this. Now here we go. You know what, Neil? A lot of traders looking for 70-cent winners. We just put it on right in front of you in a matter of 10 seconds. So there it goes right now. Here, how about $1 in 10 seconds? How about that one right there as that goes on the board rate again? So there it goes. That's scalping. I'm here for you. I'm here for myself. I'm here for Adara. I'm here for Neil. I'm here for Trader TV Live. Let's go, Fabian.
IWM actually finding a bit of support here around that $208 level, bit of resistance at $210, down about almost 4% on the day, but finding a bit of a range here for the Russell 2000. A few small cap runners to talk about today, though some of them have already seen a sell-off. One of these is MKD Well Tech. This is MKD W is the ticker for this one. Completing a few days ago here, completing its business combination with Cetus Capital, 1.73 million share float. So smaller float for recent business combination MKDW. We also have here OSTX. This is OS Therapies. This one had its IPO yesterday, so this is only its second day publicly trading, announcing this morning that it's formed a patient advocacy advisory board. So nice look here for recent IPO OSTX. Last but not least, we have DRMA, Dermata. This one has run in the past, currently at highs of day. Not seeing any news on this one, but it does have a smaller float, around 626,000 shares, market cap of under $2 million, and a larger short float as well, about 7%. So DRMA on watch as well, guys.
Drama making some power moves in there. It seems like, okay, so the trend that we're looking to follow here on Intel, it's trying to hold a higher low. The market's trying to get back into the upside. I want it to try to press in. If we can get something in the 70s, I'm looking to maybe get that if we can. And then AMD is the other. Quickly pivot to AMD here, as that's coming into VWAP as well. Like it just tagged it with a wick and did not get and hold above. So I'm going to try and grab some AMD. And Intel, again, Intel's not really popping that much. And you got to sit on the offer of Intel. Like I said, you sit on the offer, hope to get filled on the way back into the upside. I'm just looking over. It's not going to get to the 70. Seems like AMD and VWAP is going to be a more likely opportunity here for me. Out of those two chip names, I'm feeling maybe an Apple. If the market is going to hold, I'd love to see Apple above 222. That looks like a pretty good level as well. I'm not into Apple, but if it can break this 222, it looks pretty good. Oh, that's going to crash.
We're in Apple here. We have $1, so we're in $1 winner on Apple right now, and I'm going to get some out if we get back up there. We just took another piece right here. We haven't been through this 222 level since a minute.
All of my charts.
So here we go now. That's okay. I take it here as Neil's charts have gone loco a little bit right there. All right. Let me just put an out at 222 then. I was at 222.10 there because that is where the 50-period moving average was. Oh, no, sorry. What am I talking about? No, it's... was I looking at Amazon before when I talked about the 50-period maybe? All right, well, this is at 222.50, so what am I even talking about? All right, well, I'm still going to take a piece out right now at 222. We just got one. We just got 85s on the way up. But I was trying to wait for a break through 222. It just did, but then it stopped on a dime there. I don't think that matters. There's not really too much size here. And I don't think Apple right now at 10:24 in the morning is really super price sensitive. I think it's, yes, finally, man. There we go, man. We're back in the pocket where we need to be. Nice move up there for Apple. So there's Apple now, $1 and change back for the long. So, oh, man. Missed trade of the day. Not many, because I took most of them, but missed trade of the day on the long was the easiest long of them all, probably. Nvidia falls right into pre-market levels, and that's supposed to be my trade. So 104.50, 101.50, sorry, was a definite load-up spot there on Nvidia, and we missed it. Nvidia is still down 6%, though, right? It's not like you didn't miss much right here, because it's still going, Neil, to the downside, though, no matter what it looks like. We still have had some negative trajectory right here on those names. So NVIDIA, we're still trying to find it. All right, Apple's starting to get really big now for me because we still do have a piece on, which is really nice to see for me. Normally we get out. Okay, there it is. We take that 220, 222.40 level right there, and we'll go, awesome. Thank you, Apple. And again, we said that, man. Stay with it. Yo, Sebastian, I need to hear you, man. Where's that super chat, Sebastian? Where's that super chat, Sebastian? And the reason why, man, is I talked about why I liked Apple down here. You said, why is this dude over here long Apple? What is this man's doing? And right there, now we are doing this as the bulls come through and start kicking. I'm just playing around with you, Sebastian. I know you're in the chat there and you weren't saying anything other than positive stuff. So thank you, Sebastian, for the continued love there. But Neil, that's it. That's $2. It's back in there. It's Apple. Thank you, Apple, right there. Oh, there it is. Shanti, spin the money on Snap. All right, Oscarito. There you go. Thank you so much for, go Snap, for that super chat. One more time there, Oscarito. Wow. All right, we just made back a decent amount of money right there. And obviously, it's all due to Apple and the mistrade of Nvidia. We could have easily been green. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm still having some chart issues. My main charts are fine, guys. It's just the charts that I track multiple symbols on are giving me some issues. It's a new version today. But we're back into VWAP on AMD, so I can still take the same trade. It just came right. Can we come to my chart? Here we go. AMD just came right back in where we had it before. So pretty much the same repeat, break 135, get out. If it starts holding a bit above VWAP the way that Apple is, I think this is a possible reverse long. The market has been a sell, at least for now, so I want to try to respect that. Wow. And then moving to the upside, as you already mentioned, is NVIDIA. Where to catch that is going to be tricky. But obviously AMD is going to lose this 135, and we got to get out. So as I said, one in, one out every single time. If we start consolidating off of VWAP, I want to look long on this stock. But until I see that, I don't want to give it up just yet. NVIDIA is the other one that I want to try to catch. It's a very similar story. If it starts holding VWAP, I want to be reversing into the longs. The thing I'm not looking long is still Intel, because that's at the low of the day. And as long as that's at the low, fair enough. So AMD, we got one win, one loss. We slightly up on it, but most of the other names have been pretty good. I want to be looking for a VWAP hold of either two of these chip names to join the bid. Did miss that bottom at 101.50, as Sean mentioned. It was a tricky one on NVIDIA. The last two were no good, and that's probably what made me get away from it. So sometimes it helps you to preserve capital, makes you miss a trade. Like, that's par for the course sometimes. Like, if you're going to be a little bit defensive, you might miss something like that on NVIDIA off the bottom. Let's see if it can hold VWAP and take out this 104.5. That would be a big reversal that could take us in to 107. This or AMD. I have both of these up. Right now, AMD's a little bit stronger, up that 2%.
Yeah, I don't want to short AMD or Nvidia.
Oh, goodness.
So I won't be doing that. 137 maybe the break on AMD now as it continues to go higher. I mean, Apple is now $2 in the money and going, and we still do have a decent spot on for this. So if we can get back up there into some of these levels that we really like, man, I mean, we are getting greedy here. I understand with the $2 in the money, but I'm going to put another offer up here at 223.25, see if we can get that on another pop-up. I mean, I feel like we've taken advantage of this move here on Apple, and this is how come. You know, we always talk about it. There's advantages and disadvantages to using more shares, and some of them are when you get run over, you have too many, and when you have this kind of move, you don't have to pick levels specifically. You can get out on the way up, and this is a style that's been working. So look at all of these outs that we just took. We just took one right there at 222.65, 222.69, and 222.34s on the way back up. So 34, 69, 66. To the upside there as we noticed a slowdown, so we were able to get it out. We also put an offer up here at 223.25 for that trade. So a big one happening over there right now. Amazon, we already took it out, but Amazon's not getting any better, man. I mean, Amazon is not participating in this move back up. So we short it, so we long, hit, short. All right, and that's to me the trading that we're trying to do, right? I mean, if you're going to play off of a level, then that level breaks and you get a 60-cent worth of slippage. My whole day is basically the slippage. 60 cents, that's a lot, but that's what happens when levels break, and we talk about that, so no qualms about the break whatsoever. Just the fact that it did happen, we got out, and then we reversed into the short. We reversed into the short there a bunch of times. There's 3 or 4 times that we got the short into there. So good trade for Amazon. I don't wish we would have held it. We got out basically at the bottom right there for Amazon. So that was a good one. Now we have to wait out for 161. Apple still $2 in the money, trying to get going as well, back through 223. And then Snapchat, I'm guessing still downside. And did Intel crack 30 yet or not?
30?
Yeah, almost 29% right now.
30%.
Yeah, I don't know. It might have done that. I don't know if it did at $20.40. Probably not. But that name is, like Neil said there. Yeah, shareholder destruction in the chip space is happening to many names right now, and especially into this one for Intel. And shareholder appreciation time for Apple right now is that's up 2% in what's been a fade selling market pretty much all day. All right, Adara, it's 10:30. Something that we've ignored, and I'm not really sure why, but crypto.
Coin didn't move last night. That's why.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, Coinbase is not really on our minds. A good one.
Lots of earnings in the crypto space yesterday. This morning, Brendan and I talked a little bit about Coinbase and Marathon Digital earnings, but we also had earnings from MicroStrategy. They did have a now total Bitcoin stockpile valued at $14.7 billion, but its earnings per share were quite the disappointment. They reported a loss of $5.74 per share. Analysts were looking for a loss of 78 cents per share. So almost $5 more loss per share than expected here. But keep in mind, this one will be on watch as we head into next week. They're starting to trade on a post-split basis as of August 8th, 2024. So MSTR on watch with the earnings and its split. We have Bitcoin here on the daily chart, bit of a chop and churn, continuing to hold up this range with a base of around 65,000 and a top around 68,000. Bit of a topping tail, though, for the second day in a row that we're slightly red on the day as of right now. Bitcoin, or on that chart anyway, right now we're just above that 65,000 area for Bitcoin. Ethereum starting to hold on to 3,100. Bit of a weaker picture for a lot of these other crypto names, with the exception of a slight move up here for BNB. We've got Ripple to the downside about 4%, Cardano down 1.2%, Tron down 2.2%. So a bit of a mixed picture, but general weakness in the cryptocurrency space as of right now, guys.
I was just talking to Obi here, and he's talking about how easy that Intel trade was. Not that it was easy, but that it was setting up for the break. You're going to hear from Obi there. And I said, this is why I appreciate the way Obi trades and the way some of these traders trade around here. And I tell you that all the time. It's you put in the work, and then you hit it with a default where you can actually make money on. And that's where I'm saying to Obi over there, congratulations. You're going to hear from him in just a couple minutes. So, and I feel like that's what's been working. Today, not so much. Today was more of a dip buy opportunity for me. And then there's Apple right now, 250 in the money and still trying to go higher. And here's the levels that we talked about. So I'm waiting now at 223.50s to see if we can get that exact level coming through again. So, and again, a big shout out to the guys that did the work in the back, right? Brankos, Wayne, Obi right there, hitting that Intel trade and basically making it their day. So that's exactly what real trading is all about. And I think that that's something that we have to acknowledge and congratulate our fellow traders around here because we probably don't do that enough. So there you go. Congratulations, Obi and Brankos and everybody there behind us. Good day so far over there for Neil. And yeah, we're going to be near the bottom because we put on some risk, man, and just didn't work out. But right now we've made back half at least of our day here on Apple. But our day will be red today, which gives us about 4 in the last 30. So, and we're right in the pocket of where we need to be. So all good. We still have some more Apple love coming through here today. And that's what it's all about on Trader TV Live. That's why you'll always hear me talk about that regardless of where I am net-wise. Sure, we could do a campus read. Why not? Real trading right now. Go over to realtrading.com/campus, which I'm going to get up right now for you to show you that webpage because I just got it hit in my ear. There it is right now. Join the thousands of applicants hitting this every single day. Hit the apply now, available to Canadian residents. Go over here, figure out what's going on. Hit the apply now. What's in it for you? I mean, we can all read this. You're going to join a like-minded community. You're going to learn about the platform that we're trading on. You're going to have the opportunity to trade a curated list of what our team feels, or Real Trading Campus team feels are the right appropriate stocks to trade for beginning traders. They're going to send you on the appropriate path and boom, 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 get to phase 4, get to phase 1. There you go, back and forth. It's 8 hours of trading a week, which is great. You have live trading, simulated trading. There's levels to get. There's coaching, there's reviews, and apparently this is also seen on tradertv.live. So you can click on the program structure and it takes you right there. Hit the apply note immediately. Like right now, go over to realtrading.com/campus, hit that, and there you go. That is a promo for Real Trading Campus, which has been a super hit. And big again, big time congratulations to Brankos and all the guys that are behind that. What's up to my good guy, Lars?
What up, Lars? Yeah.
And what's up to some of those traders that came through the other day. I had some fun with those guys. But right now, we're only having fun with this name right now. It's a chicken dinner winner. It's Apple, Neil. It's $2.50 in the money. And again, this is why we talk about trading here as much as we do. A, it's a trading show. B, you guys are looking for opportunities, all right? I've been sitting in this trade now for an hour talking about why I liked it off VWAP, talking about the name Apple, talking about earnings, looking at these plays. You know, meanwhile, Amazon barcoding, doing nothing. Meanwhile, Nvidia, sure, great move off the bottom. Did you take that profit? I feel like there could have been some shorts right there at 105, the same level that I thought was breakout, now coming back in. So we only have 10% left now of our Apple trade. We did get this 223, just as we were talking right there, not only throwing down promos, but exiting trades as well. 223, well, actually, I think we did that right when we got out. 223.40 right there out for Apple. So far, so good, man. No burnt ends. They have burnt ends next week. At that barbecue place. So, no, Friday.
Don't wait till you come back.
They emailed Randy back. It was Friday. That's today.
Well, yeah, that's today. Well, I'm not doing the brisket.
I'm going to the other place next time.
I'm not doing the brisket twice in a row, and I agree with you. I think we should try the other brisket place, although it was absolutely delicious. And then, like yesterday when I was doing the lesson of the day, it was 100% genuine. When Sean sat down next to me and I smelled that brisket, I lost my freaking mind. It was so good. So shout out to Patty Ice for suggesting it, but I want to try the other spot. Just quickly over here, 3 things. One, first thing, Intel still stinks. Second thing, ARM got to. I was going to say 2 things, but then I figured I'd throw the other one in there. So Intel still stinks. ARM wicked VWAP into 113, came back down, held 112, and then held 111. So grabbed the short on the way back in, was able to get filled, but it's right back retesting VWAP. I don't want it making another wick above. I think I'll just grab it out if it breaks the quarters and allow it to do the wicks above have been where you wanted to get the short. See this? Not at VWAP, but after it fails VWAP. So I'm going to stick with that. So I just want to make sure everyone saw that. Like Sometimes I'll give it to this level, but in this case, I was only giving it to the quarter, so quick scalp trade there on ARM. And then while that was happening, I said I'd go for a break at 104.50 on Nvidia. Thankfully, it was a break that failed right away, and I got out right away. Nvidia is still looking pretty trashy at this moment, so we'll allow it to get out to the downside. It is what it is. I think I risked about 25 cents on Nvidia. ARM I do still like. If we get this push back up and it can fail VWAP again, whoops, that's AMD. We had that last one on AMD, but we already talked about it. It's ARM that is at VWAP that I think I want to grab if we can catch another push into VWAP and flush. So these look pretty weak. We're going to try and go station to station on them. There is also, I feel like we haven't talked too much about Tesla. 210 on Tesla. Actually, no, we have said 210. We have said 210.
Yeah, that was pre-market.
Okay, so it bounced at 210 about 25 minutes ago. It's headed right back into that 210 level as we currently are heading much, much lower. Let's go over to the desk with Adair. Let's see if I can get back into ARM or if Intel even wants to pop enough to get a short.
This part of the show brought to you by Stonks.com. Want a chance to win $1,000 every day? Stonks.com is giving out $1,000 daily, and entering is super easy. Predict the stock price after the earnings report. Today, we're looking at AMC. All it takes is 30 seconds to join. Just go to Stonks.com, sign up, and hit the Make Prediction button and potentially win $1,000. It's that simple. Every day, you get one free ticket to predict. Want more chances? Share your referral link and get 5 extra tickets for each sign up. Go to stonks.com, don't miss out, and good luck. Sector board here, pretty red, as is to likely be expected. Finance week across the board. A lot of these major names getting hit particularly hard, like JPM, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America. We also have the electronic technology sector red across the board with a couple of exceptions here. Apple, notably among them, trying to recover after a pretty strong earnings report yesterday. Technology services weak here. Lots of weakness in consumer services. Producer manufacturing, retail trade led by Amazon after its earnings, energy minerals, process industries, and transportation. We have some sectors with a little bit of bright spots. Utilities, pretty strong here. Consumer non-durables, strong. Bit of a mixed look here in consumer services. And last but not least, worth noting, communications. TMUS, T-Mobile, day 3 earnings continuing to the upside, guys.
Anybody else that punched out there? So we did, thank you, Adair, for that one. Yeah, make sure you check out that stonks.com. Hit that QR code available right there for you immediately. AMC tonight on watch for that. All right, so while you were gone, honestly, there it is. We did a pretty good job here of buying that dip in Amazon. We bought some 116. Where are we long at? 116, 161, not 116. Better not get to that level, Amazon. All right, so 161 right there. We bought 161 in a quarters. And as you can see, first out right there for about 20% was 40s, which wasn't great, only 50 cents. Then we got 60s up there for about 40 cents. And we only have, well, what do we have left? We have 40% left right now. So again, even if this breaks, we would still be fine. We'll try it again down here at 161. If it breaks, man, we are gone on this one. As Amazon, not like the rest of them, we talked about that. It is real weak, man, and continuing to push lower now, breaking its day's low right now. But hey, man, for this one, for 15 cents worth of risk, plus obviously associated slippage. We talked about losing 40 cents last time. That was in the chaos in the morning. I do not expect any kind of slippage right now whatsoever. I mean,
Midday's different.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, by not expecting anything, that doesn't mean that the market won't slip up a little bit right there. But there it is, a nice pullback down. So let's just hit a little bit of a siren here as we saved our neck a little bit there off of Amazon. Let's see if it can go back up to the upside now. We already targeted our outs, right? Where are our outs on Amazon? Breaking through 161. So 15 cents worth of risk. We just took 15 cents. That's why we hit that. That's a 1-to-1 trade. Apple was a doozy, man, getting some out there. It just came back up to 223.50. Maybe we got to look at that again. And there it is, Neil. This is why we talk about this every day on the show, right? What kind of a style trader are you? You know, and right there, yes, sir, there's Amazon right back into it, man. We can put $1 on the board now on Amazon, 161.86. Yes, sir. Bang. That's what we're talking about, Neil. You know what, man? no market. We've this is how come, you got to have the confidence, man. Sometimes it might be too much, but there it goes. There's the confidence. We bring that rate back, man. We had a horrible start. We lost a lot. We slipped up 60 cents when Amazon broke this level right here. That was like a gut punch early, all right? But then we just said, that's a nice story, and we shorted it again. All right, and now we just put on Amazon for the very first time. We shorted it and took $3. Then we put this back on right there. We go long off of support and resistance, and then we put the money right back here and go boom goes the dynamite right back in on Apple right now. So, man, we've made it back a little bit here and really happy with the last couple trades that we've put on here today. Nvidia is still going to get me because that was a great spot, and it came right back in, right into the same level. Right there. So that's why you can always be disappointed with your trades. And I feel like right there, I'm disappointed in missing that opportunity because
but the key is
should have been on that. Go ahead.
The key is, I love baseball, right?
Oh, really?
And if you strike out, you've got to, or you ground out. Sometimes you pop out. Doesn't really matter. You got to have a short memory and get right back up to bat next time. When your turn comes up,
like a reliever,
you don't have a choice. No, the reliever is the best one. Like Mariano Rivera would give up a bomb, and he's going to go right back the next night. He's going to strike out the side. So shout out to that. You have to be able to do it. I did swing and miss at that Amazon reversal. I think for a split second, I was surprised by how far it had gapped.
It's more this long.
Threw my offer and was like, what the heck? But I wanted to thank you for the super chat there, Anurag, there. You kept saying short the pops. I think sometimes when the market's trending down, you want to try to remember that. I think that's always helped me. And I believe the trader's name was, I don't know, I think it was Rob, but it was back when I was a trainee. He would just say that on a big day. So you have your best day. Congratulations to you, and thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it. You're going to hit the like on that one.
Oh, Apple.
I got myself a stop order here for the 210 break for the potential 210 break down here on Tesla. So Tesla is trending down, as you can see. I don't know if we'll get to VWAP again, but you got once, now potentially twice. Let's call that twice off the open, 210.5. I'm looking for a 210 break on Tesla to be the next opportunity, unless we can get a great setup on that ARM off of VWAP.
Oh my
again.
gosh.
So it might come back in. I'm also looking at ARM, see if we can get a wick and then a short off of ARM at VWAP.
Really humbling day right now. $2 now in the money on Amazon, $3 in the money on Apple. And yeah, we are not playing right now. That was quite the reversal back. Give me those 223.80s, man. That's where I'm sitting right now. 223.80, 220. Bang, right there. That's what we're talking about. Obi, you're going to kill him with kindness. I am certain of that one, but we're going to floss it out for our friend Russell Jackson right there, as there's $3 in the money on Apple. And look how many reloads. Once, twice, thrice. Believe in what you are doing. And there it is right there for Apple, man. I mean, look at all of these trades that came into the downside. And, just hit it. Just hit the trades you want to hit, man. And this is what will happen. I'm hoping for that anyways. And look at this Amazon long. Once, twice, there it is. Nice move for Amazon. Back upside now again. If we can get VWAP, then maybe we'll scram. That's 164 on Amazon. $3 now in the money on Apple as that takes out day's high right now. We've already gotten out. I only have a small piece left for this name, but there it goes. I hope some of you had that, as a lot of us talk about having big days today, and we'll find out if you're hungry what exactly is for lunch. And here's what's for lunch today. I think this is a win. This is a win 10 times out of 10. Like literally 10 times out of 10. This is a hot roast beef sandwich with caramelized onions and cheese. I mean, if they're going to screw that up, then honestly, I feel no ways. With roasted mini potatoes, one of my favorite ways to have potatoes are the roasted minis. So there you go. That reminds me of my wife, which I love you so much. She's at the last day of my girls' hockey camp, which should be a lot of fun. Then they go to Grandma and Papa's house for the week, as the parents are going to be cruising around in London. And what we're going to be doing is hopefully spending some of them quid right there. Neil, we're $3 in the money on Apple. We're $2 in the money on Amazon. That adds up to $5, my friend. We are $5 in the money right now across the board. So far, so good. Really great comeback. I hope some of you were able to withstand some of that open. We're still here, man, for now. We're back a week from Monday, but it'll be Obi and Neil next week.
Yeah, you got to have those comebacks sometimes. You know, sometimes it gets tricky in the morning, and you got to do the best that you can. So speaking of tricky, Snapchat, I keep saying Intel's the worst stock. Snapchat is a very, very close second, still at those lows. I think just to pivot here, until Tesla breaks or does something at 210, or we get some kind of a push VWAP on ARM, just want to be patient for the next trade. How is that going to be really active in the morning, right? Like, you're trying to be aggressive with the breakdowns and the retracements. Now we just want to calm down. We got 10 minutes until we get over to that midday. If we can see snap off VWAP, I'll like that. If I can get Tesla, just lining up what we're going to do next here. If we get Tesla breaking 210, I like that trade. If I can catch ARM doing its little VWAP dance in here, I'll go for a scalp trade on ARM. The reason I don't necessarily want to try home run on ARM is it did bounce off this 108 that I was talking about on the daily. It's SSR, and it bounced off this level here. So in the absence of getting the SSR bounce at the bottom where I wanted it, I can at least be a little bit cautious with the shorts at VWAP and make sure we get exactly what we're looking for on those. So Snapchat, want to add that one back into the list from earlier today. Not a very good look for them. And as I said, Tesla, that 210 level, going to be looking pretty darn good. If it could bounce off that level, great. And oh yeah, Nvidia. This is the other one that we're monitoring. Nvidia is doing the VWAP hold again. So I took it once. Maybe we'll wait for a little more confirmation. Nvidia starting to look like it's doing the VWAP hold. I've only been long Nvidia like 3 times, and I'm going to take another shot with a dip into VWAP here. Let's go over to the desk. We've got Money Talks with Adara.
What a drop for the DXY on the daily chart after holding support pretty well at this previous support and resistance level of 104. We fall almost a whole point below that, currently at 103.2. We did have unemployment rate higher than expected coming out at 8:30 this morning, 4.3% versus the prior and expected number of 4.1%. Non-farm payrolls, meanwhile, coming out sharply lower than expectations, 114,000 versus the estimate of 117,000. So 2 big numbers coming out at 8:30, sending the market in a tailspin. DXY dropping here as well. In terms of factory orders month over month for June, those coming lower than expectations, negative 3.3% versus estimates here of negative 2.7%, and the prior number of negative 0.5%. So lower than expected for factory orders and non-farm payrolls, higher than expected unemployment rate. We do have 2 Feds coming up at 12 p.m., Feds Goolsbee and Feds Barkin, then Feds Barkin again after the close at 8:30 p.m. Bit of a lighter day for economic data next week, but stay tuned on Monday where we get a slew of ISM data prints, guys.
Man, we almost got that 164 on Amazon, as if. Like, what a call off the bottom there on Amazon. Man, we hit the short, we get the long, we get it right back in, and we almost got that. I mean, it went to 164.75. We're going to put our offer there, because if we can get that, 163.75. If we can get that, then wowee, wooey, as it retraces back down a little bit. And so does Apple. Apple's coming back in just a little bit as well off after just touching its high again there at 224.40. So, hey, let's just try to clean this all up. I mean, even if this market continues to rip higher, we'll just get something else later on. So there it goes, man. Nice moves back upside. Come on, Apple. Come on, Amazon. If we can all touch out right now off of these levels, oh boy, is that going to be quite the comeback over here for myself. So I hope you guys have a great day. There it is. Yes, sir. That's the money trade right there, man. That is the money trade. That's 270 right there. Bottom of the day to VWAP on Amazon. Follow me at TraderTV Sean, where I will be posting up these trades. You can ask me questions about them. Follow my trip. It should be a lot of fun there, and hopefully I'll be able to see some people there over across the way. But yeah, Apple, Amazon, and everything. What a great way to end the show here today with a couple bangers, and nothing like that confidence, again, being near all-time highs. So yeah, great trading. Great month, great start to the month again here, and yeah, a couple really great reads. Just failed in the morning, failed on that Nvidia trade. That was really, to me, my whole day is just losing on this. We put on shares here, Thought this would hold right here at 102, 102.75. We actually waited for 102.75 break, and that's what hurt because, you know, we're long at 103.75, 103.50, 103. So even taking a 75-cent hit or so on Nvidia when you're trading bigger can kill you. So that's what happens there on Nvidia. Fine to have that come through today. I still like that level now, 102.50, as they're doing some work in the background. You could probably hear that 101.50 though. That was, I don't no longer think that was the best trade of the day. I honestly think this Apple trade is the best trade of the day because there's VWAP there and there's multiple reloads, and it was a pretty easy level because we had some protection there technically. And then the Amazon trade, all you have to do is be a trader to see this. It kept on bouncing off of 161. And again, you're either looking for the break short, which nothing wrong with that, or you're trying to play off that strength of it, keep on bouncing off 161. So we chose the latter, played the strength in the name off that level. Now it might be a fade, which is why we got out. So we put that rate back on there for Amazon. So far, so good, but not a great day. But those last couple of trades, man, really saved us from just a bad start to the morning. So yeah, man, we're right where we need to be. We're at a level that we often leave you with on the positive side, but today we'll be on the negative side, which is completely fine by me.
Yeah, you're going to have some up, some down. It's been a good one this morning for lots of volatility. A couple of things are back into Intel, but it's Nvidia that we're in and out of. It just did a nice hold right in here. See this consolidation? It was right here about 104.5. So pull back into the prior high, bounced, went long off that prior high, and then it broke that prior high to the downside. The next stop probably VWAP. I wanted to show you that very quickly. Didn't want to interrupt Sean, but I was in the long. It just came out. It was about 30-something cents that we took out on Nvidia, and I want to keep taking shots. It's the only stock that I've been consistently longing, where everything else has been shorts. Okay, so obviously you got to really zoom in to see, because Intel, yeah, the zoom way in on the chart. There you go. So Intel back into VWAP. Again, comes in. I had shorts at 21.05. They came out at 12, looking to scalp it on the way up. It did a wick, so that got me in. This time it goes all the way to VWAP, pops VWAP like last time, but I wasn't short as it popped VWAP. I shorted on the way back to the downside on Intel. I tried to add here, but you can't hit the bid, like I said, because it's short sell restricted. So with the uptick rule, when I tried to add, I didn't get a fill because I had to sit there and wait. But now you're right back through 21, and once again, Intel is looking like an absolute flush dog. I'll tell you this much. I haven't looked at ASML. I don't even care what percent ASML is down. I just know that the money I was earmarking in the back half of the year to maybe buy some Intel shares went into ASML, and ASML could be down double digits today, and I'll have a smile on my face because at least I didn't buy more of Intel. Sometimes the best you can do is...
Then smile, Neil. It's down 10. So there we go.
Look, Tesla broke 210.
Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah. Good out right there. I just want to bring that up because there's another bunch of stuff happening. ARM is the crazy name out there. We'll have to look at that as well. All right. So we're still into Apple. I don't have an offer except for the high of the day, as we only have a couple more minutes before Sharif is off today, and Obi will be filling in right now as he's getting ready to get locked and loaded over there with Adara. So looks like we did have a decent out on Amazon. I mean, it's still at this level where we got out, and it's trying to take away VWAP right there, so that could be another play. I really like those reloads, obviously, on Nvidia there, as Neil's been talking about those. Yeah, again, like we already broke that 105. That was a great trade, man. We were really hot fire early, and then it broke lower, and that's when it got into trouble. So right now, I feel like we'll leave it alone for now. It's down 4 and a bit. Still a decent name, though. We were able to... Obviously, we've been buying the dips on Amazon. That'll be another name. DraftKings. I said watch out for DraftKings earlier, and this was earlier on in the week. I don't know if anybody heeded my advice or not about DraftKings.
What happened?
I mean, I don't know. Welcome to 10%, man. I mean, I was saying that DraftKings is right now. I talked about this with Brian Shannon because I'm always trying to talk to people that are smarter than myself, which is pretty much just random people. Yo, what's up? Random dude. Right there, but 35 dropout right there on DraftKings. And we talked about this before this happened, obviously, as it's earnings day, and there goes DraftKings. I knew this name was vulnerable. It's another 10%. We're not in this name in our own personal account, but this was one that I sort of had that little feels for DraftKings, and the feels were not very positive for that name, and you can see why as it continues sort of its destruction now into the downside. So unfortunately, for those of you that have been on this name, you know what I'm talking about. DraftKings been bad, and at least we called it, at least we talked about it, and was able to give you that trade. So that's Amazon, or that's DraftKings for now. Apple is fading out a little bit. I'm basically done trading. I'm not really doing anything right now. Just going to wait to see if there is other opportunities that come through today. And I feel like reloads is what it's going to be. So that Amazon out, again, still hovering around there. I feel like this is really super strong. Apple could be the one to get reloaded. And then if Nvidia ever comes down into that 102 area, that's another one. But there you go, man. That DraftKings one, we will pat ourselves on the back because I feel like that was a good call.
Yeah, DraftKings. There were so many names reporting that were moving around today. I completely forgot to even look at a couple. DraftKings, I understand. I apologize that we didn't get to. I don't even think I called up Mara today. And Coinbase, probably an opportunity to trade. So Tesla broke 210. I'm going to start by zooming out first. The 50 period's at 208 change, maybe like 208 and a half. So I think on a break here, 208 half, that's the 50 period moving average right underneath. So scalped it. Immediately it went to the 50s and then again bounced off of 09 even. So scalped into the first dollar. If it fails at 208 and a half, fails to go lower, that's the place I'm going to look for the out. So we're ringing the register on that one. While Intel, again, like just keeps on doing some Intel things, sliding back into the downside off of VWAP. This thing is just continuously going down and down. And just because we mentioned it, we only have 25 seconds to go. Mara, look, Coinbase, Bitcoin tried to get above 65,000, is now pulling right back underneath. Mara double topped and has one of the easiest looking round off into a possible bottom break that you're going to see. Like, look at it, higher highs into higher lows. I think maybe trend reverse. If I was trading Mara, I'd be thinking trend reverse, then throw on top of that you're failing right underneath previous support at $18. So I haven't traded this stock today, but in hindsight, it's like up and clear reversal. You're underneath support on the daily, and that's at the $18 level. So I think maybe short back into 18. As long as Bitcoin isn't absolutely ripping faces off, I would respect that. But it's 11 o'clock. We're shouting you out. We're throwing you guys on over to not Sharif, even though it's showing Sharif down there. It is going to be Obi and Adara. Learn to trade. Go get them.
It is.
Hi, guys. Great to see you all this morning. I am Adara. This is Obi. We are here with How to Trade, which used to be known as the Midday Show. It is now known as How to Trade. Not a lot of people here in the chat yet. We've got Darwin. We have Obi in the chat who you guys can now tag. It's just Obi. That is the @ there. Shout out to Bears vs. Bulls for everything you do every day. We're going to wait for some more people to roll in here.